The following live stream has been approved for appropriate audiences. It may contain occasional strong language and may not be suitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer inebriation is advised, though not mandatory.
Good evening, happy Friday, and welcome to Last Call, where when the booze goes in, the sorrow and the strife of the week have to go somewhere else. Speaking of going somewhere else, how about the Abbott Ranch in Wyoming? The question is less where so much as when. And to help us examine these and other questions about the Amazon Prime original series Outer Range, we are joined once again by friend of the channel, Deleted Scenes. We'll discuss episode 4 and 5, talk about where Joy has been, where Amy is, and how much Autumn knows. So top off your glasses, strap in, tell me what you're sipping on in the chat, and we'll roll this Canarble Wagon right after we yield the right-of-way to that herd of buffalo.
Last Call is streamed before a live audience.
Salud, or should I say, howdy. Welcome, partners. Good to see y'all. I am really loving this season. I am sipping on. I figured this was a whiskey night, but I have been kind of having a hankering for that. I had it on the stream a while back. One of y'all bought me this Elvis's Midnight Snack, peanut butter, but banana and bacon flavored whiskey. Let me tell you something. This is really yummy. Even Netter likes it, and she is not at all a whiskey drinker. You definitely smell. Well, I was going to say you definitely smell the banana, but I'm getting all of it. I'm getting the banana, I'm getting the bacon, and the peanut butter.
See, I wasn't smelling peanut butter. I was smelling the banana, I was smelling the bacon. I was not smelling peanut butter, nor do I taste the peanut butter.
Oh, it's sweet. It's like a dessert. It really is. We just came back from, we had run some errands, and we stopped to get. I wanted to pick up this whiskey, but we also picked up some snacks, some chips and cookies and stuff like that. Just
Spice drops
for Netter. And so as we're coming into the house, I'm putting the bags down because I'm just going to bring them all downstairs, right? So I go, let's see, chip snacks, cookie snacks, liquid snacks. So, by the way, I haven't shown this off. You guys, thanks so much for all of the kind anniversary wishes to Netter and myself last week. Did not get a chance to show you what Netter got me for our anniversary. It's a t-shirt.
Yeah, I'm going to say you might have to.
It's okay. I'm on 500 milligrams of. I got to stand up for you to see it. Fuck it all. She got that for me. I laughed so hard, and you know what the first thing I thought of was.
Fuck it all, don't give a shit anymore.
I just thought that was brilliant, and now I've been age restricted, I'm sure. So,
Like, this stream is for anything younger than 21 anyway.
well, I know, but that 7 seconds is gonna have the rat on my tail faster than you can say zippity doo dah. Let's say hi to the chat. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here, every single one of you. Starting with first I'm seeing Big Al of Big Al Presents, who says, have a great stream tonight. My friends, welcome and thank you. We will be over on Big Al's channel tomorrow night for the 1960 classic sci-fi film, The Time Machine.
I love that film.
Absolutely. I tried to like the remake. It was okay. I liked some of the things they did, but you shouldn't remake classics. You really shouldn't. Vasalud, Lady Miss, thank you so much for the roses. You are so sweet. This guy is annoying, but Netter seems to like keeping him around. JPRPH1, Hail, thank you so much. Channel member, friend of the channel, super appreciate you. Aged Boomer, let's get you in here and ask you how you doing, my friend. How goes the battle and what you sipping on?
I'm doing okay. I guess the battle so far is okay, but hurricane season's not over. But I am imbibing tonight. I have an Angry Orchard Crisp Imperial.
You know, I was this close. There you go. That sounds yummy. I was this close.
Yeah.
I was so close to getting a Mike's Hard Lemonade. Big Al had mentioned it a while back, and then I was this week drinking lemonade, and I'm like, I think I'd like a hard lemonade. But then, you know, I just had this Elvis thing going on, so I said, nah.
They're kind of sweet.
They are.
Here's
This is too, though.
Ciders are odd. It's funny. When I went to a housewarming a few weeks back, right before I caught a certain disease of unknown origin.
Yeah.
And
the Wuhan flu.
I brought it. Yeah, and I brought a case of Angry. Or I wanted to get some hard cider. I usually used to prefer Strombow because they were more tart than sweet. This isn't bad though. This Angry Orchard, I think, because it's a crisp variety. It's not bad, and it's in. I like to get it in cans when I can find it.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever made your own cider?
I have not, but my dad had an interesting story when he was young and on the farm, and I think someone was leaving some cider out, and he was trying to take it. Don't drink that, because they were trying to make it hard cider.
Gotcha. Yeah. We used to, the church that we were with the children's ministry, and so, you know, we traded off with a bunch of other parents, you know, on who brought the snacks and so on and so forth. And there was a little mix-up with some of the apple juice from...
No. It wasn't a mix-up. What had happened was...
Well, I know. I was just saying it that way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we were having a picnic.
A mishap is how I really should say it.
We were having a picnic outside, so our classes were going to be outside for the kids. For the church, so like the church service and stuff for the adults obviously was a little bit further away, and then all the Kingdom kids were in another area, and someone had given us some apple juice to bring to the children's service the prior week. We had it in the trunk of our car.
Okay.
It fermented. The kids were drinking beer.
Awesome.
Yup.
You must have been popular.
Well, it was like one of the other teachers was like, "This smells fun." She goes, "Why does this smell like beer?" And we're like, "It's apple juice."
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it fermented in our car.
Yep.
And someone went and bought some Coca-Cola or something.
Nobody. You know, I mean, if anyone got drunk, even the pudding pop people, nobody said anything. I don't think it's that bad.
Someone ended up getting a bunch of water for the kids so they have something to drink. But it was like, oops.
So I guess technically we have made cider, but not intentionally.
Yeah.
I think if I'd done it intentionally, I would have made it better, to be honest with you. But
the title on this can says "Big, Bold, Madly Refreshing." Okay.
Is it madly refreshing?
I guess it's not bad.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Okay. Good.
But, you know,
Connie Cleary. Hopefully, I can make it into the chat room. I'll be picking up parents at my aunt and uncle's place. They don't have power, just a generator as power right now. Mom and Dad need to return Uncle Joe's Jeep. Gotcha. Yeah, you know, obviously focus on. This isn't a watch party or anything. So if you're not here live, that's fine. You can always catch up if you're real interested in the topic. And salute to Deleted Scenes. Great friend of the channel, channel member, and waiting in the wings. How are you doing, my friend? How goes the battle and what you sipping on?
Well, I have very what's the word I am looking for? Damn it, I'm on the air and I forget what I'm going to say.
Unfortunately, it's a noun, and I can't guess it. There you go.
It's probably a bad idea, but I was looking for the other word for bad idea.
Oh, there you go. Ill-advised.
I'm showing my age.
Ill-advised drink if you're planning on going to bed anytime soon. But there you go. There you go. But good. And how's your week been?
Oh, it's been a week. I've been
week,
walking between the raindrops, as Tom Waits once said, and it's been a busy week. Interesting week. When you're in the middle of one of these storms, it's kind of like drawing straws. I mean, either you're going to get a tornado come down right on your house, God forbid, or you're going to be absolutely fine and just have to pick up some branches and for the water to go down so you can cut your lawn again.
Or you got to deal with flooding, but Age of Boomer wouldn't know anything about that, would you, Age of Boomer?
We got it bad, but people this time around, people in the neighboring county got it even worse than we did. My heart goes out to them. It's awful. And,
Speaking of flooding, hi. Yeah, it has nothing to do with the weather. It has to do with an appliance being replaced upstairs. And some very, I don't know if inexperienced or just lack of thinking handymen screwing up. Water just exploded everywhere, poured down into the basement.
Yeah,
there were casualties.
Yeah.
Oh, yikes.
Troy is not a happy camper.
I am not a happy camper. Some comics, some collector's cards. I am livid.
Yeah, I already told the appliance company, it's like, y'all are paying for this. You're paying for the sink to be fixed because they broke the pipe. Okay.
Even the comics that survived, all the boxes were destroyed.
That sucks.
My long box. You know what I mean.
The long boxes, the short boxes, all of them. I am actually surprised that none of my Badgers were damaged because they were one of the ones on top where the box was just totally effed.
Yeah, we're not happy, but there you go.
So, they're going to be sending their insurance adjuster to come and see stuff and be like, all these cards are ruined, all these comics are ruined. Fortunately, I was able to get, like, a lot of them didn't have damage, just the boxes were totally effed.
That's good.
A majority of them are okay. Although I still want to try to just take a quick look and make sure that I didn't miss any.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go through all of them. And I figure as long as we're going through them, I can start doing my inventory so I can get back to my collection. Because, there's always the one or two issues that are missing anyway that you need to, get. But and I really need to throw some money at my comic book guy anyway. So this is a great opportunity.
Comic books.
So, Netter, how you doing this week? And what are you sipping on?
Well, considering that
I know how the battle goes.
Yeah.
She's been fighting it with me.
I spent all of yesterday afternoon trying to clean up a torrid flood of water in about a quarter of our basement, trying to pull out the collectibles as fast as I could so they wouldn't get ruined. I could salvage a bunch of them. Having to deal with
the worst part
people.
was that we literally had them under tarps and protected and whatnot, specifically because we knew that there were plumbing problems upstairs.
No. See, we
go
had.
Ahead and tell.
Yeah, I had put tarps over a bunch of stuff because our original dishwasher started leaking into the basement. Just a couple drips, but it was enough to be annoying, and it was starting to damage some stuff. So I put tarps around it because I figured, okay, I'm going to keep the tarps up until we get a new dishwasher. Then I can take them down, I can wash them, put them away. Well, they put they actually gave us a new dishwasher, or we bought a new dishwasher. Then we discovered it didn't have a heating element. So we were swapping it out for another one, and this is when they broke the turn-off valve under the sink. It just came right off the pipe, and the fellow his name is Raphael, really nice guy. He's always fixed our stuff. I really like him. The idiot they sent with him is the one that I wanted to punch.
Get to the thing about the tarp.
So Raphael gets the water shut off because I actually didn't realize we have a second water shut off downstairs. I put a big sign in front of it, honey, red letters, water shut off, arrow pointing to it, so you know. So he's trying to do a different one to try and get it shut off, And he couldn't do it with his hands. It was tearing into his hands. So he pulled off his shirt, wrapped the knob with his shirt, and was doing that to get the water off. Got the water off, and he's just standing there, like, this expression on his face of pure horror as he saw this water coming down. Plus, it was hot water, so the guy burnt himself, too.
Yeah.
Where Idiot Boy is just standing there like a big lump. Oh, looking underwater. So then, because he's like 6 foot tall, and Raphael had gone back upstairs to try and see what the damage up there was, I said, since you're tall, it's like, can you tell me, is the tarp totally covering the top of the wardrobe? Because we have a cloth wardrobe that we had a bunch of his collectibles in. He goes, yeah. Now, I had a pole sitting on top of there to weigh down the tarp so it wouldn't slide, because silky material likes to slide. Idiot Boy picks up the pole, puts it down on the side. I'm like, why did you move that? I said, put it back.
Yeah.
And when he put it back, because he got pissy, he threw it on top of the wardrobe. And
that's what caused all the water to just pour down into the container that had all the comics and stuff.
Yeah. So I made sure that I told his boss about that. Plus, we're back upstairs in the kitchen, and Raphael's saying, yeah, this has got to get fixed by a plumber. You need a new something. And Idiot Boy's like, yeah, we don't do that. Maybe you could call a friend to help you. And I'm like, it's like, can you just, like, go away?
Yeah.
And so he's standing in my living room. So we're in the kitchen. Living room is right next to the kitchen. And Raphael is talking to me about, what I need, and has me take pictures of the ends and stuff so I could show. There are 2 plumbers that I contacted that had done work in my house before. So I sent them both the pictures and stuff. And Idiot Boy kept going, well, I turned it off under the sink before and it was an issue. I'm like, no, you did not. You turned it off downstairs because we turned off the power and then we immediately turned off the water right next to it.
Because that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Right? You don't, if you're doing electrical work, you don't turn it off at the switch that you're working on. You turn it off at the main. If you're doing plumbing, you don't turn it off at the outlet. You go downstairs and turn off the main.
The guy's still talking out his ass, pardon my language, but I'm kind of still pissed about this. And I was like, stop talking. Just stop talking.
Yes.
I was channeling my inner Troy when he gets really pissed.
Yup.
And he goes, fine, you can do this all on your own then. And he stormed out of the house, and he slammed open our screen door, breaking the little, I call it the elbow, the thing that keeps it...
The hydraulic...
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Spring, he bent it. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we took pictures of that, because Raphael and I both took pictures of it. So Raphael could show his boss. I had them for, insurance or whatever, because their insurance company is going to come, and I'm going to be like, look what he did to this.
And I told her, I said, you better tell them.
Oh, I did.
If he comes back and comes into my house, he will not be leaving under his own power.
No.
And I'm not joking. I am not joking.
Yeah, I told the owner, who's like the owner manager, is like, he is not allowed back in my house. I said, if he comes here, my husband will kill him. He is not allowed anywhere near or around my house.
Probably not kill.
Well,
I want him to suffer as long as possible.
I mean, I probably didn't say kill, but I was like, my husband is very, very angry at him. You do not want him anywhere near my house. I don't want him anywhere near my house. And so I spent a good deal of time mopping up all the water, trying to salvage what I could from the wardrobe. Of course, we don't have any water, so I can't shower. And by this time, I'm soaked. I'm filthy. I felt gross. And then I took today off of work because it's like, I guess you still got to deal with anything that's still left that I didn't get to. It's like, yeah, it is.
When I say brutal week, that's what I'm talking about.
I really need hugs.
I know.
Hugs.
Or alcohol.
It should not be a surprise to you when I say...
Fuck it up, don't give a shit anymore.
That's really what Friday's about. That's really why I roll out.
That would make me like Frozen a lot more if that was actually in the movie.
Quentin
I was trying to
Frozen.
I was trying to find that clip online earlier today, and I ran across another one I'm going to have to go back to and watch. A different parody. I'm a hoe, and I'm like, I got to check this one out. This sounds funny. But anyway, let me continue saying hi to the people that make all of this shit worth it. Welcome, FKHC 2005, otherwise known as Tim. Welcome. Good to see you, my friend. And howdy, Curtis Selby. Welcome. I've missed almost everything today, but you did not miss this stream, and I super appreciate it. Let's see. I thought I said hi to you earlier, but why the heck not? Let's say hi again. Welcome, JPRPH1, channel member. Appreciate you so much. Age of Boomer, I said hello to this chucklehead earlier.
Did you see my comment? How I wanted you should have gotten Chuckles?
You should chuckle. Yeah, exactly. That's why I said chucklehead. Of course, Mark Melnikoff. I have a never-ending prescription for fuck it all. There you go. And you work in a pharmacy, so you have easy access. Matanui Hale, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Always a pleasure to have you here. The Time Machine. Any relation to the Miami Sound Machine? A great ancestor of, yeah. Doug working. So much cool stuff in the background. There's an Elvis booze? Yes. There's actually a number of Elvis boozes. Maybe one of these days I should do a stream all about Elvis booze. Like maybe on our birthday, January 8th. But again, yeah, this is called Midnight Snack. And those that know, Elvis's favorite midnight snack was a fried
banana sandwich?
Bacon, banana, and peanut butter sandwich.
And by the way, thank y'all for letting me vent, because I would have been so ticked off the last 2 days. Thank you.
If misery enjoys company, I figured, you know what, you guys might. Those of you that had a bad week, but maybe not as bad a week, can go, well, geez, I had a bad week, but I didn't have, my kitchen exploding and destroying my comics bad.
Okay, when I started thinking about all this and my flood and all that, I'm like, okay, yeah, we had a flooding situation, but it wasn't nearly as bad as Boomers. So
no, it wasn't. But what really pisses me off about it is, after all the advice I gave you and everything, I did all of that stuff. Everything was up off the ground. Everything is protected and whatnot. And we literally, it was more vandalism than the flooding. Is what it really was.
Yeah, this was a man-made disaster.
Yeah.
Not a force of nature. That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the amount of water that fell from our kitchen into the basement was, I would say, the equivalent of like a bathtub and a half full of water.
So Tim says,
all at once.
For Netter and Troy, Cubs or White Sox fans?
Wait, now read the comment right underneath it.
I want a riding motor.
What?
Something tells me that there's I see. Tim's next comment. I hope the White Sox don't move from Chicago, if anything, to the Burbs.
My comment right underneath Tim's, I said one of each. I grew up Cubs, Northsider. Troy grew up Sox, Southsider.
Yeah. And, we've talked about this on the stream before, and that's fine that you hadn't heard it. We don't talk sports ball very much. But, yeah, it was, neither one of us are big sports fans. So when we make our choice, it's not like we really give a shit. Fuck it all. But, yeah, she did grow up a Northsider. My grandmother and grandfather actually owned an apartment building on the south side of Chicago in Little Italy. So definitely, Southsider, Sox fans. And I know I've told this story about my grandparents moving out to Ohio. My uncle was a co-owner of a marina in Mansfield, Ohio. And again, my grandfather being a White Sox fan, his best friend when he got out there was a big Cubs fan. The Cubs. He'd say it exactly like that. The Cubs.
Okay, wait. I like this comment. Geek Flag with Nate says, "What's up, Troy? While you're getting drunk, I'm dining on some Thai drunken noodles." I want to know what those are. And Mark gave me hugs, so thank you, Mark.
Yeah, if you can get me a recipe for drunken noodles, I absolutely will be happy to eat them on stream.
With his drunken cherries.
Yeah, so one of each, but not so much fans that it even matters. You know, sometimes on streams we'll get a little just for the shtick of it, but neither one of us gives a shit. I'll tell you what, though, when the Sox won the World Series, it was a very mixed thing because I just had wished my grandfather was alive to see it. You know, he would have really loved that. You know, I prefer woodpecker cider. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Let's see. Which church was this? International Churches of Christ? That would be an interesting topic if you are so inclined.
Who said that about the IC?
Pardon me?
Who said that about the ICC?
David is asking about the international. Well, he said which church? Sticks. Yeah, okay, I'm with you. Gotcha. I hope the White Sox don't move from Chicago, if anything, to the suburbs. Yeah, you know, everything that is Chicago needs to move to the suburbs, or I will not be partaking anymore. Mark, if you're still here, feel free to chime in. We've talked about this. I don't even do Star Trek cons if they're in the city anymore. I will not go into the city anymore. Screw Chirac. Love the city. I always did, but it's become a hellhole. It really has.
It's kind of like walking into Detroit.
Keely Chow, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. I super appreciate you being here. What's going on? We are still saying hi to everybody in the chat. We will get to the main topic very soon. I promise. But you people, you wonderful people in the chat, far more important than anything else we have to talk about. Good evening, Dad Man Walking 55.
Yes.
Definitely, if you want to, well, you know what? Not just Dad Man Walking, but a lot of the people we've been saying hi to in the chat. If you want to get to know them a little bit, get over to Netter's Network. She's had them on as guests. Talked about the channel. Talked with them a bit.
Not just Dad Man, but Mrs. Dad Man.
Mrs. Dad Man.
And David,
no offense, but let's face it.
Yeah.
The better
And David, the
two.
cards were protected. We had them in boxes in a wardrobe, so they were.
The problem is that when you have everything up off the ground, inside of a material credenza, in a long box, albeit cardboard, you expect it to be fairly safe.
Yeah.
But the amount of water, and it probably would have been spared if this guy hadn't actually touched it and fucked around with,
Yeah.
you know,
like I said, it was the
protection.
equivalent to like a bathtub and a half full of water all coming
Just
down at once.
poured over the
hot
top.
water
Yeah.
on top of it.
But every month of comics is in its own plastic bag, so some of them got wet on top. Those are the ones that we're going to be pricing out to the insurance company. But yeah, I'm pissed, but you know, this has to be addressed. And let me tell you, we won't be doing business with that company ever again.
No.
Yep.
I'm waiting for the insurance to settle with us. Well, first I have to take the damaged comics, see if I can find them so I can at least get a price on them. And
They're not terribly old or rare, so you should be able to find them fairly easily and fairly...
Hopefully.
It's just having to go through this shit pisses me off, you know?
Yeah. But then there's those 4 mail-aways that I want to see if I could find them because you can't get those mail-aways anymore. And I mentioned all this to the guy who owns the appliance place. And it's like, yeah, send your person over here. I will put up a list or make up a list. I'm going to try and price them out so I can provide that to you.
Steven, would you drop your link real quick for David so that he... so that we're for sure he's got your...
David's actually on my channel, so you might have to drop it there.
Well, then...
I dropped it in the chat.
Oh, no.
There
Yeah,
you
he did. On mine.
Okay,
I see it there. About halfway down. Okay.
Let's see here.
I think I said hello to everybody that's in my chat, and I know I said.
I'm sorry, Curtis. I don't know who you're talking to.
The one about subbed Keely Chow.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, because like a couple comments down after that, he goes,
yes, please, folks, definitely be subscribing to each other. This is a big part of why we do what we do. We want to build the community. And even if your channel, you're not one that does like content or whatever, don't worry about it. You subscribe to each other.
Yeah, it's like I know people who have zero content. They got like 75, 100 subscribers. It's like,
keep in mind something else you could do. Although this, Netter probably wouldn't be too big on. This isn't interview material for Thursday things, but you can always the favorites that you do, videos that you like, and you create a view list. You can make that public if it's stuff you want to share and say, hey, this is the stuff I like. Check it out. You could do that too, if you're not making your own content or whatever. And forgive me, I'm just going to kind of breeze through some of this. If there's if you really want to get my attention, make sure that you at me or whatever. For example, wow, Netter just got my attention. Wow.
Just leave it at that, honey.
Okay.
If I didn't say hi to Nate earlier, hey Nate, Troy and Netter, I didn't make the noodles myself. My wife ordered them from my favorite Thai restaurant.
Ooh.
So Netter, you're going to have to look up a recipe for me.
Okay.
Yeah, anything in the city, nope. See, it took a little while to convince Mark, but Mark's kind of realized, yeah, Chirac has become a place you don't want to go to anymore. And I thought that Tim had highlight. There we go. Tim said, remember, Troy and Netter, always look on the bright side of life. I'm too drunk to whistle. So
I have been able to whistle ever since I had braces.
It's good to be last call, Troy Vicelli. Well, it is on a Friday when you've been, there you go. Guys, again, if I missed a comment that you wanted me to highlight or make sure that I saw, make sure you highlight me or if it's really, really important to you, we now have the super chats, so you can always do that too. So, but holy crap, we're more than a half hour into this stream and we haven't even gotten to our main topic.
No, you've just been listening to me bitching and moaning about the flooding.
Sometimes you like to hear about other people's misery. It makes you feel better about your own, right? It's like, man, I had a week, but I didn't have my comics destroyed.
And if I recall, it was David who was asking my guests last night on Thursday Things all those really great questions. So thank you for that, because I know he really appreciated that. And when he comes back on,
realize that is encouraging to people.
Oh, yeah. Because it's like I was trying to think of some different questions, and you were asking some really good ones. So I do appreciate that. And when he comes back on for his second book, I'd love for you to, to make sure you join us and, ask him the rest of the questions. So, recall you said something about wanting or having like a million questions to ask. So, yeah, you're definitely welcome to join.
So, Nate is basically making a commentary about inflation. He said, I was watching a clip of the honeymooners. Ralph and Alice were arguing about his paycheck. She paid the rent, paid the dentist bill, bought a week's worth of groceries. Ralph's check was $42. Yeah, $42 would not pay for any one of those things today.
It would pay our water bill. That's it.
Yeah.
Our water bill is usually about $38.
And Mark says, we leave the lights on for you. Yes, I remember that. That wasn't Howard Johnson, was it?
No, it was like Motel 6 or...
Motel 6, I think it was.
Was it Motel 6? We'll leave the light on
and we'll leave the light on for you.
Yeah,
that's right up there with Pepperidge Farm, remember this?
They did.
I need to go back and watch that. I need to start getting serious about my own writing career. In fact, I mentioned on Thursday, At least I think I did. I know I mentioned it in the backdrop. I don't know if I mentioned it live. But I am planning to do a stream where I bring back all of the... and I mean on Friday. So all of the authors that Netter has had on Thursdays, all the authors I've had on Last Call, have them in one panel and kind of do a discussion, especially about self-publishing and so forth.
And Curtis, that Frozen Purity, do you want to hide a body? Yeah, I've seen it before, and I just opened in another
do
tab.
You want to hide? I've seen that.
I can watch
too.
that again later.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Okay, so let's get to Outer Range. We are talking season 2, specifically episodes 4 and 5. Deleted, can you do a very, very brief, get us up to date? I mean, I'm not sure I could, but maybe you could.
Okay. All right.
You
Which
talk,
one?
I'll drink.
Okay. Well, when we last left our gang, Royal found Joy crawling out of the hole. Well, time portal, I should say, because
remember, so this is out in his outer range, right?
The West Pasture, yeah.
Oh, that's why they call the show that.
And we lost Troy. Okay.
Oh.
I'll go on until he comes back. All right. So Royal finds Joy as she crawls out of the hole after having been missing.
Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. This is what happens when you drink. It's just.
I want to be on the left side. I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
No. Leave it alone.
Okay.
Mess with it.
I was going to say, if that's important to you, I'm more than happy.
Thumbnail, by the way, I'm Doofy Doo.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in a bit, but wow. Just wow.
He is on the hallucinogenics.
Yes.
Well,
in fact, it seems his entire family might be. Yeah.
In a moment, we'll be getting into that. Real quick, let's say hi to Enigma Severance. My peeps! Yes. Enigma's going to be on with Netter
Thursday.
This Thursday.
I think it's this Thursday. Let me just double check.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I like the thumbnail that I did for that stream. I hope you do too, Enigma. But, whoa, wait. Too much, too fast. Sorry, I have been MIA. I have been busy with making sure school is... Dude, guys, this is... I super appreciate anything you do to support this channel. If you come and watch a stream, Memorex, when it's not live, leave a comment, hit that like button, you're going to encourage me.
And then read Nate's chat right underneath that one.
Pacelli, sound, should I check out
now? I haven't started watching the show yet. It's on my list. Are there spoilers?
Depends on how you feel about spoilers. I mean... I am the type that I care less about spoilers. Chances are, if I hear spoilers, it just makes me more interested to see how it panned out. If you are absolutely planning to watch it and you don't like spoilers, you want to get it fresh, maybe check out. I understand that, but. Yeah, this is more about the journey than anything. I don't think there's anything... well, I mean, if you haven't seen a single episode, if you haven't seen any of season 1, for example, you might even be kind of lost in what we're talking about. So, up to you, man. I totally understand if you decide to... He's already answered. Fuck it, let's go. I like your attitude, man. I really do.
That demands another Elsa clip. I'm kidding.
I'm already pushing it. If I haven't, incurred the wrath of the Eiger in his 2 showers.
I just deleted scenes that started telling us all about it, right?
Yeah, I just finished The Instigators. It is somewhat of a remake, just different, and it's hit or miss depending on the person. Yeah. Yeah, so
I've heard that. Yeah, some mixed things. It's on Apple TV. Matt Damon and Casey Affleck this time around. Kind of a heist picture, sort of, and where it's not necessarily the heist that goes wrong, but the getaway that goes wrong. So, yeah, I do not have Apple TV, but I'll have to find it in other ways.
I'm more of a Tangerine TV kind of guy. I'm sorry. Just go on. Tell us about Tangerine. The previous episode. Yeah.
All right. So previous episode, as I was saying, Royal has found Joy, who, as she crawls out of the portal, wounded, and she's got a story to tell. Which is what episode 4, Ode to Joy, is all about, is where she has been.
Netter, you're already getting the salivation on your new icon.
Yeah, that was actually taken right after my daughter's wedding about 2 years ago.
Yep.
I had just taken my hair down from all the pins and everything, and that's what it looked like.
I'm actually surprised by how dark your hair looks in that picture, because it's not that dark. It's just a lighting thing, I think.
It could be. That was actually taken in our bedroom, but then Maria with Tea and Tally, she changed my background for me, so it's got kind of like an Asian a wall behind me, or Asian, not flag, tapestry behind me. And it's like, I just loved it so much. She's good at that stuff.
It says made in Taiwan. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go on, deleted scenes.
So we have that storyline. We have the whole Tillerson family party. They're all.
There's a bit of dysfunction going on there, right?
There's quite a bit of dysfunction, and they're now adding hallucinogenics to it because they have gotten a hold of this, the mineral, as they are referring to it. That
so what? Wait a minute. Let's pause right there.
Yeah.
What do we know about this mineral? It's this black-looking. Mm-hmm. It almost looks like hematite, but like ground up, like hematite sand almost, right? And it only
go loopy.
It does. It only comes from the big hole in the outer range, the eponymous outer range. Mm-hmm. And it's got some kind of, for lack of a better term, I'm going to call it magical properties. For one thing, it's got healing properties, right? So let's look at the Tillersons, right? So who's daddy? He was in a coma, but this mineral like woke him up and brought him out of it, right? His son was bedridden, right? And then he took some of this mineral, and although it got him high, started hallucinating, all kinds of weird crap, it got him up out of bed. It healed him basically, right? But it does also seem to act as a drug. Like I said, a hallucinogen or whatnot. We'll get into that more when we start talking about Autumn and her use of it. She uses it as a drug. Real quick, I got to thank Orville Nation, who dropped a super sticker for me.
Cool.
It is a keep it up and exercise. Okay, fine. I'll get back to the gym. I'm with you. I got you. Thank you, man. But seriously, thank you so much. I'm learning all about this this YouTube thing, right? And the sponsorship and the whatnot. Netter and I were watching Culture Casino earlier today, and as we're watching, people are. This happens. You've seen this on some of the bigger channels, right? People will do like gift memberships.
Yeah.
And someone was doing like metric crap tons of.
One person did 50. Then somebody else was like, I can't let that happen. And they did 50.
So people are doing these 50, 50, 50, 50, right? And it's like, And Netter like goes and does the math, and she's like, "Holy crap, this is going to be a good month for Culture Casino."
Yeah, for the 50 memberships, it was like $150, close to that.
And
like,
and sure
wow.
enough, I'm like, but here's the problem with gift memberships. You give somebody a membership, and it's basically free to them, and they don't usually re-up the following month. That's part of the problem. I remember once I got a membership to Legal Mindset. Hell, not only did I not renew that membership, but I've stopped following him. That's a stream for another time. But yeah, it's a great little bump for him because he got a whole bunch of those. Oh, dude, another super sticker from Curtis Selby, $5. Mic drop. Thank you very much, my friend. You are awesome. But yeah, I so no sooner did I say that about Culture Casino, and I'm like, yeah, those are probably temporary. All the gift memberships from like last month have fallen off on mine. I'm like, I lost a third of my memberships, and I'm like, well, again, unless you're, it's the. Have you ever heard the guys on the panel? Have you ever heard of the reason that newspapers cost 10 cents, 25 cents, $1.50, whatever, when they are really paid for by the advertisements in the newspaper? Do you know why that is?
No.
Why do they not just give you the newspaper for free? The reason is, you go to those little vending machines, you put your money in, you value that newspaper. You're spending $1.25 or whatever on the newspaper, and it's like it has value as opposed to, well, it's just free. I'll just use it to line my,
bird cage or
bird cage or whatever. Yeah, it's this perceived concept of value. Oh, dude, thank you so much. One of the most supportive communities on YouTube. Well, I have one of the most supportive communities, keeping this channel going. You guys, when channels say you guys keep the lights on, you really kind of do. You really, really do. Super, super appreciate it. But, yeah, there you go. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is Adult Sex Weekly 69 cents. Nice. I'm a YouTuber, so I am obligated to say nice whenever someone says 69. Just there you go. But anyway, so here's the problem. We're 3 episodes into the series, and Joy has been missing since the finale of last season, right? Mm-hmm. She fell into the hole. She ended up back in time. We know she's back in time because she sees all the wigwams and she sees the herds of buffalo and whatnot. We know she's gone back in time. And that's where we left off. And we've been 3 episodes not knowing where she's at, but we ended last episode 3, with her daughter going through family photos and saying, look, it's Mama Joy, and of course nobody's listening to the little kid, because you don't listen to little kids, they don't know, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Until you put her to bed and you look at the picture she was looking at. It's a picture from the 1800s, and sure enough, it's friggin' Mama Joy. It's one of those Back to the Future kind of moments, right? Marty and the Doc in front of the clock tower before the clock has been put up in the tower, Same thing. So we've been waiting for 3 episodes not knowing what's going on with Joy. And now we get to episode 4, Ode to Joy. I'm very on the nose title.
It's not wrong.
So the title, or the title card, the thumbnail for tonight, that is not clickbait. I really do feel that this episode is my favorite. I think this is the best episode of the show. I love
like a Western.
It very much was, but it's this great out of time sort of story. Anyway, one of you guys want to sum it up, because I'm all over the place. I'm all fuzzy.
So it sums up. The episode is all about Joy revealing to her friend that Michael Jackson became the king of pop. And
you're kind of jumping over some story there, Agent Boomer.
Basically, Joy kicked butt in this episode.
So this is, for all the talk I've done about time travel stories, this one was the most relatable. Joy going back in time just struck me as the average person dealing with unexpected time travel, right? She's acting sheriff, right? She goes back in time, so she has a modern day sidearm, right? She's got all this knowledge about the future, and now she's got to adapt to being back in time and do it quickly before someone burns her at the stake as a witch or some kind of crap, right? But so we find out from her perspective, we're kind of jumping back to basically where we left off last season with her, and she realizes that she's not in Wyoming anymore, right? Well, she is.
She is. Yeah,
just generations earlier.
Version. Yeah.
Exactly. And so one of the things we've often said about this show is that it deals with modern topical issues and stuff. It deals with, what people might think of as, woke issues in any other show, but in a very realistic way, right?
Yeah, it's
so for example,
politics of the time.
Exactly. Joy is a gay woman married to another woman. They have a daughter together. I'm not sure they ever went into the details of who, carried the girl and who the fathers or any of that kind of bullshit. Doesn't matter, right? These are modern families with modern issues, but they don't harp on it. They don't have gratuitous, whatever. I think last time we talked about this, I made reference to the whole trope of the lipstick lesbian. These are definitely not them. They are the realistic sort that are like, yeah, whatever. That's your family. That's your thing. I don't give a crap. And Netter and I were just talking about this today. I said comparing Joy and her wife to Royal and
Cecilia.
Cece. Yeah.
Why did you have such a hard time?
I don't know.
She wants to go to the room.
She wants to go to the room for making love. Right.
That's Four Rooms reference.
That's a rewatch we need to do sometime very soon. We'll pair that up. We'll pair that up with another what's his name? Quentin Tarantino film.
I'll be in the F soon enough. Right now, at the end of the year, I'm going into E.
Fair enough, but you look at Royal and Cece. They're. I don't think we've ever seen them kiss. They're not lovey-dovey. They're just dealing with their family shit, in a very realistic way. And to be honest, Joy and her wife, the same thing. It's not like, if you're not paying attention to the fact that they're, a couple, you might even totally miss it. You got to be engaged in the story. So anyway, my point is, it doesn't hit you over the head with the woke bull crap. It's just, this is the world. This is the way it is. But she goes back in time, and she finds herself in the middle of, again, not a situation that, if this was a woke show, if this was a politically correct show, they would not be dealing with. Basically, a clan war between two different tribes of Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
And she obviously is of Native American descent. She speaks the language of the Shoshone. Is that right? She defends herself against one of the attackers, and then is surrounded by, a group of Shoshone, and in their language, she, says, "Hey, wait a minute, and she's taken with them, and one woman from the Shoshone tribe, who actually is their interpreter to the white men, right? She speaks both English and Shoshone. Says, so, in English, she's like, so, when are you from?
No, she starts off with, everyone wants to know where you're from. I want to know
That's what it was.
when you're from.
That's what it was. So you realize this is another time travel. So this is, in my opinion, good writing, right? Because we're following someone from the modern day, 2023, 2024, going back to the 1800s, talking to someone else who's traveled in time back to that time.
From the 70s.
From the 70s.
And she's got a tattoo of some band on her.
She's got a tattoo of Led Zeppelin, which in the 1800s looks a little freaky deaky, right? You don't expect. Right. So, and it's the Led Zeppelin cover, you know,
Zeppelin.
that angel looking album cover, right? You know.
Right.
So I guess people might see it as a Christian. People that don't, because Led Zeppelin doesn't exist yet. The music doesn't exist yet. So as far as they're concerned, it's a fallen angel, right? So people are thinking maybe witchcraft, you know, whatever. But so she's got a compatriot, right? You know, someone who, like herself, speaks Shoshone, is descended from the Shoshone tribe, but is out of time. Right, so they become friends, and it's really emotionally taxing for her because she realizes, she's like, "How long were you here?" And do you guys remember how long 1970s was here with the Shoshone?
Oh, it's been. I got the idea that it was probably. Yeah, I think didn't she say 16 years at one point?
Yeah.
I think she did.
Maybe.
I have that in my head for some reason.
Which is devastating to Joy because she's got a wife and daughter.
She thinks she's never going to see him again.
Yeah, she says, I'm never going to see them again, am I? Right? And, I mean, that's pretty emotional. I mean, right down to just friggin' outright crying. And she's like, look, I understand you're having a tough time with this, but you gotta deal with it. You gotta hide or destroy or get rid of all your future stuff, and she shares about how they thought she was a witch and so on and so forth. She had to convince them she wasn't and whatnot, and show her value to the tribe and whatnot.
And part of her value to the tribe is that she can speak English to the English people.
And she's trying to set up Joy to take her place because she has cancer. And she knows she has cancer because she was a nurse in her modern day 70s life. And she knows that there wasn't a treatment for her in the 70s, let alone back in the 1800s. So her time is limited. And so she's like, Joy, you can take over. You could be the translator, the liaison to the white people, and so on and so forth. The person that she ends up being the liaison to specifically is a landowner, a white man, who has a son. I don't know, what is 10 years old or something like that, by the name of Royal.
Mm-hmm. Coincidence?
No, not coincidence. She realizes what's going on here. She catches on, right?
She's suspicious. I'll say that. At least she's suspicious.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting fuzzy, guys. You might have to pick up the narrative from here.
So don't forget, we're introduced to Royal's family side of things.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what? Let's go back to season 1. We already knew that Royal was from this time period.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We as viewers, not everybody in the in the story knows, but we do. And his explanation was that he had, as a boy, he'd gone out on a hunting expedition with his dad, and apparently he shot his dad accidentally. You know, it was
Hunting accident.
It was a hunting accident. It was he was so devastated by killing his father, he ran off. He didn't go home, and that's when he fell into the hole and ended up in 1970, 80, something or other. I don't know.
It was in the 70s.
And he was on the Abbott farm where he was taken in by Cece's family, right? So he grew up with Cece. They fell in love. They got married. Well, sort of. It's more complicated than that, but that's a separate story that we'll get to in a moment. And so that's the story he told. That's how he remembered it. Yeah, I better let you guys take over from here because I'll screw it up and kind of ruin the story.
All right. So, what is his father's name? Last name Sumner. What was the first name again?
Sumner. Yeah. So we've been calling him Royal Abbott because that's what he's been going by, but he's not Abbott. He's Sumner.
Sumner. Yeah. And his father is a little bit of a hard case, I think, right?
He's an asshole. Let's just call it what it is. He's an abusive fucking asshole.
Okay.
He thinks it's tough love. We're
assholes
up against
usually
it.
do. That's true.
Yeah, he beats
that
his
is
wife.
not where I wanted to greet somebody. You are not an asshole. You are an awesome person, the Clue Channel. Thank you so much. Channel member Clue Channel comes in to say, Troy, Netter, Boomer, deleted. Salute, friends. Salute,
Thank you.
my friend. Thank you so much for being here.
I remember seeing in the episode where he's getting Royal a new pair of shoes, right? I mean, this is probably getting too much into the plot.
Dude.
Actually, I'll say this: nothing is wasted on this show. The shoes play into the whole scheme that gets them.
They really freaking do. They tell you so much about the dynamic there, and especially if you are somebody. I think anybody could relate to this, but I especially relate to it. Having been in the Boy Scouts, long hikes and so on and so forth. Shoes to protect your feet need to fit, right? I remember as a kid, I think I shared this story on a stream one time before. My mother bought me a 12-speed bike. It was my adult bike, and I was too young for it. It was too big for me. And I nearly killed myself on that fucking thing. Yikes. And she said, well, you'll grow into it. And I did eventually. After having a lot of repairs because, I'd run into things and I'd fall over and I really messed up that bike. I think it cost more than it was worth because of that decision. You know what? My stream, I can do this. I'm going to take a sidetrack and say, look, you need to be mindful when you're trying to save money. And this was something I told my grandmother. It doesn't do you any good to buy the cheap garbage bags that break and you have to use 2 and 3 of them. You end up spending more money that way than if you'd bought good garbage bags. Okay? That's true of anything, right? You can buy the cheap food, that makes you fat and full of preservatives and kills you early, or you can spend twice as much on the whole foods that are healthy that don't have, antibiotics and growth hormones in them and preservatives and extra sugar to keep them on the shelves longer. It's up to you, right?
Yeah.
It's the value is in how much you pay for it. Just saying. So anyway.
Yeah. So.
Oh. Yeah. Go on.
Now we were introduced to Royal Abbott's father when the first time Joy was, well, you're right, in the flashback episode where we find out that he shot his dad, but also in the when Joy finally goes back in time and
he remembers those commercials. Hefty, 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 wimpy, wimpy, wimpy.
I remember
that's like an 80s commercial. Damn, we're old. I'm sorry. Go on.
So anyway, I'm trying to think though, but I know the big part of the episode was Royal needs to get a new pair of shoes. Dad goes into the shoe shop, and
he gets
of course
shoes from the cobbler. So remember, this is Wyoming in the 1800s, so it's still frontier. Cobbler makes those shoes right there, custom, and they're way too big. He made them the size he was told to make them, not having measured.
Because he thought he was making them for Mr. Sumner.
Exactly.
Not for Royal. And here's what's interesting. Royal sits down, he's about to untie his shoes, and what does Mr. Sumner, what does his dad say? No, don't do that, son. That's his job.
Yes.
And the shopkeep
which is
immediately
just assholery and he's like, yeah, that's my job. You know.
He's very go ahead.
Yeah, because he could tell his hackles were up. It's like, yeah, it's my job, but you don't need to treat me like I'm crap.
Like I'm a servant. You know.
This is very much about, and I get this from this episode, that this episode is actually very class conscious.
It is. Yeah.
Well, not only that, but the idea of people who I don't know what the term is for it, but play to being a higher class than they are.
Yes.
Because he's a landowner, he thinks who the hell he is, but we realize very early on that he's got a financial situation and he's dirt fucking poor. So he's putting on airs. I think that's the term I was looking for.
Putting on airs. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. And of course, he's just, and then of course he goes to pay for the shoes.
Yep.
And what happens as a result of him paying for the shoes?
He doesn't have enough money.
Well, because the cobbler raised his prices and didn't tell him that he was raising his prices.
But it wasn't, it was played like, look, if you're quoted a price and then you wait too long to pay for them, the price may go up. And that sounds to me like that's what he was saying happened.
He said basically the businessman down, I'm forced to raise prices. That's what he said. He didn't point the thing to the board. Maybe he could have told him it's going to cost more before the kid put them on. Maybe he could have done that.
Wait, this is a great comment. David says, so this is like an alternate timeline, settlers and Indians not getting along? Yeah. Actually, you know what? Real quick, I want to use this comment to interject something. And correct me, everyone on the panel, if you think I'm wrong. But I feel like as far as time travel, paradox, all that kind of stuff goes, so far in this narrative, I feel like any paradoxes are ontological, right? In other words, this is a single timeline. Although you don't know about it in advance, everything that's going to happen in the past has happened, if that makes any sense. For example, we were talking previously about the little girl. She looks at the picture. She sees a picture of her mom in the past. It had already happened in the 1800s, even before she went back in time. It's not like we're changing history. This was a predestination paradox.
It's not like an alternate timeline, and it's certainly not a multiverse, which I'm very thankful for.
So far, yeah.
So far, but I'm like, the multiverse thing, and so far this show hasn't.
So this comes under the. Go ahead.
Everything does connect.
Yeah. It's an ontological paradox. It's a predestination paradox.
Predestination, exactly. It's just, it has happened, it will happen again.
Actually, you know what? I was just going to point to the Time Machine, the remake of the Time Machine, but that's actually a bad example. The best example I can think of for the ontological paradox is the 12 Monkeys, the original film with Bruce Willis. He tries to change the past only to find out that his attempts are part of the established history.
This is the two theories of time travel. I believe there was a science fiction story written once about a man that was trying to go back in time to prevent Jesus from being crucified. And of course, things keep stopping him and preventing it from happening. So it still happens anyway. And so you might say that's providence preventing him from changing and this important event.
Well, when you start dealing with religious aspects, you could say that's God saying no.
But even
I've got
still,
a plan here, my friend.
Even in the Harry Potter books, how Harry Potter...
That's another great example. Yeah. The whole time... What is that little device?
They had a time device, but it wouldn't change
I bought one
time.
for Netter, actually. It's the medallion that... Yeah, Time Turner. I think that's what it's called.
If you do something in the past or set something up, it was something that was always supposed to happen anyway. It was fixed.
Exactly, and you see that. You see that with Harry when he goes back and he does something and he realizes, oh, that was me that did that. I thought it was something else, but yeah, that's what we call an ontological paradox. So far, all the time travel we've seen in Outer Range has been very intelligently ontological paradoxes, as opposed to the other example would be the Back to the Future model, where you go back and change something and then you create a new timeline. So in other words, time is mutable by the time traveler going back and changing something. Although by doing so, he risks his own existence, which should not be possible. If you don't exist to go back and change time, then time doesn't get changed. So that's the weirdness of it. But
yeah.
So yeah, thank you for sending us on this side tangent, but it's a good one, David, because it relates directly to what we're talking about.
Now there's trouble back over at the tribe too while all this is going on, right? Because a couple of kids decided to go hunt a buffalo.
Yeah. So you can argue that this gets into the whole... You could call this a woke issue, but it's just...
Well, it happened, though. Let's be honest.
This is the kind of shit that really happens, so I don't have a problem with
because
being topical with real history, you know?
Here's what's interesting, is to someone who does not understand the history of the time, they could look at this episode as woke. But here's where it's not, okay? Is you have to think of what's going on at the time. There is animosity between the settlers and the Indians, in this case, the Shoshone.
Pause there for a second, deleted scenes. I want to also point out that we also came into this whole scenario with two tribes of Native Americans fighting.
Yes.
Also, this is, I don't care if you're white, red, black, what, color your skin is, different tribes end up fighting. That's human nature.
Yep. Yeah, everybody is essentially at war over this land, and who's going to be.
And at the same time, because Nate is commenting, I also want to point out that sometimes, regardless of skin color, you can still be the same tribe. My buddy.
Yeah, but and here's another thing that I want to bring up, because you not only have this potential for confrontation between the Shoshone and the settlers, you also have this infighting going on with the settlers themselves as well.
Yes, good point. Thanks for bringing that up.
The land barons and I'm sorry.
Right, exactly. The land barons, because they even flat out say it, the Sumner, can you even afford to live here? That's their way of digging at him. And that's why he is.
I also want to use that opportunity, and because it's my stream, I friggin' can, is to point out that this is human nature, and this is exactly why, the whole socialism construct doesn't work, because we're human beings, and we're naturally selfish. It's always going to work out that way. So, you can imagine your kumbaya utopia. It's never going to happen. Doesn't work. You can argue, oh, Jesus wanted a socialist. Yeah. Jesus did among the believers. But there was no mistake that the heathens would never buy into that. Share everything amongst yourselves because you're brothers and sisters. But just keep in mind that you're living in the world, and the world will forsake you. So, Sorry, that was my little. That was my tiny little soapbox. So go on.
It's fine.
David.
But yeah, and it was basically yeah. You were talking.
And I'm not sure which thing you're referring to, Nate. But amen, hallelujah, brother. I'm with you. I'm with you. We are simpatico. We wouldn't be on the stream together if we weren't simpatico. I super appreciate you, my friend.
Anyway, I believe deleted scenes was bringing up when the guy made the comment, "Can you afford to live here?" And Mr. Sumner's ties into Mr. Sumner. Yeah, go
exactly.
ahead.
Sorry about that, but yes.
I think you're going to say something.
You know, so you have this class system going on within the town, and you do have to remember this is the 1886 version of the town that we have been in throughout the entire show. Right. So we are seeing how the town itself has grown over the generations, which is also a very fascinating. It's kind of like we're getting Centennial instead of like 16 hours, you're getting it 8 hours. I'm going off track. Centennial, very good miniseries from the 70s and 80s. Check it out. And it was about how this town got formed from back into 1800s to present. Anyway, this is past that. It just kind of popped into my mind. Come inside now. So we're seeing what the town itself was like in 1886, and things have not really kind of changed all that much, really, because you have the
I
land
think
barons who are very,
that is
Tillerson
definitely
is
their
very much
intent.
of those land baron types.
Oh,
yeah.
Tillerson ancestor, I wonder, or maybe not.
Yes,
I
well, maybe,
might...
but it doesn't matter. What they're getting at is human nature, right?
Yeah.
The tribalism, and this is just friggin' reality, right? There's always going to be strife between families, between neighbors, between people, right?
Yeah. So, a couple of the younger kids, they went off to go shoot a buffalo to prove themselves in front of the tribe, while, of course, the warriors are away. So the warriors aren't at the tribe right now, the adults.
So what it comes down to is this question of property rights, right?
Because so they see, go ahead.
They have gone onto the land of some white landowner, and one of them even...
Dick.
Yeah, one of them points out, we're not supposed to, it's that whole mentality of who owns the land, right?
Well, part of it was these two teenagers shot this buffalo because they wanted to prove themselves to the tribe they could bring back food to feed everyone.
Right.
And the female was like, we can't, basically, we can't afford to lose this buffalo. We shot it, we need to get it and bring it back.
Right.
So she was daring to cross over the river onto the white man's property to get this thing.
And, of course, because they were on the white man's property, he shoots one of them. The other one escapes. No.
No, he hit the girl over the head with the butt of his rifle or something, and the other one ran off.
Right.
That's when the horse get shot. Did the horse get? Were they on a horse? I don't remember now. Maybe they weren't.
No,
Maybe they were just.
No, they were
ran off.
No, they were on foot.
Walking.
They were on foot because they were stalking. But that's important. The girl gets taken. The other gets away to tell the tribe. But okay, go on. I'm sorry.
Okay, so the girl gets taken, and the boy makes it back to the tribe, and he's like, Feather's been taken. I think that was her name. And explains what happened.
Wow, good memory. I didn't catch that.
I think that was her name.
And it's like, the white man took her. This is what happened. We were, we shot a buffalo. We were tracking it. They took her. And the other woman that speaks English was saying to him, or saying to Joy, we need to get her back. We can't wait for the warriors to come back because she will be gone from us. So Joy goes, gets her handy dandy little 9mm, and goes
right. Her modern her modern sidearm, as I was talking about. Real quick, I do want to say goodnight to Matanui. I know that our streams go a little late for you, but damn, it's super encouraging that you still come by for the early part of the stream. Thanks so much for being here. Have a good night.
And so before she goes off, she gets blessed by the tribe elder before getting on her horse and going after the girl. And her only request is, give me your fastest horse. So she takes off. She gets to the place, and because she's a modern day cop, she knows how to sneak up behind people. She ends up, there's one guy like playing a fiddle sitting out in the yard.
So let me set the stage. There's two white guys, and they're definitely going to assault in a physical way this girl.
There are two guys in the house. There's one guy outside.
Oh, right, one guy outside.
So the one guy outside, he's just sitting there playing his fiddle in the yard, and he's got a shotgun with him. And Joy kind of sneaks up behind him and fights him, knocks him out, and...
No, she shoots him. She kills him.
Oh, she knocked him down. Yeah, right. She shoots him. Oh, that's right. She shot him right in the head, if I recall.
Boom. Because you got the guy in the house through the head, too.
Yeah. And then she's
a good shot.
Yeah, she busts into the house, and she's shooting at these guys. She manages to get shot herself in the leg, like lower leg.
She got hit in the leg. I have to assume it was not the femoral artery, because she survived, but it was bad.
But she ends up killing the other two guys, or actually killing one of them. One of the other guys managed to, run out and escape from her. So Joy grabs the Indian girl, Feather, and she's like,
David,
come on, we gotta get out of here.
No, you're absolutely right. Not only were they not watching each other's backs, for fuck's sake, they were just thinking with their Johnsons to molest this girl.
Yeah, because then Feather tells Joy, they told me what they were going to do to me. And you could just
let me comment on that real quick. The way they dealt with that, we all knew what was happening, but the way they addressed it was very... They did a good job of sanitizing it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was damn classy.
So you got Joy, who's injured, with Feather, and she's like, come on, we gotta get out of here.
Again, she's got this really bad wound in her leg.
Yeah. So she gets to the horse that she had taken there. They take off. The guy...
Wait a minute. One other important point here. We need to point out this is happening 4 years after she got there. When she first got there, she didn't know how to ride a horse.
Yeah.
She didn't know how to get on and off a horse. Now she's like,
No,
and her Shoshone is so much better than it
she's
used
proficient
to be.
now. Yeah. Exactly.
So she and Feather take off on the horse. They go for a little bit before Feather's like, we have to take care of your wound, or you're not going to make it back to camp. So she slides off the horse, makes Joy get off. She's finding some herbs and stuff to try and make her a wrapping for her wound. And Joy, after she wraps her leg...
let's face it, it's a tourniquet.
Yeah. Well, that comes later. But she tells Feather, take the horse, go back to the tribe, warn them.
I honestly thought she was going to lose the leg, to be honest with you.
Yeah, she's like, go back to the tribe, warn them. She's like, I don't want to leave you. She goes, go. She makes her go.
Yes.
So then after the girl takes off, then she ties a tourniquet around her leg to try and stop the blood flow.
She is just laid up underneath a tree.
Yeah. She knows violence will now come to the tribe because the one man, she didn't get the last guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think her idea was to kill all of them. It was probably going to have to kill all of them. There probably wasn't going to be a peaceful solution. She knew that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So
no witnesses, right?
Yeah, and there was a witness, and it was the guy that owned the land too, not just one of his lay workers.
Who wasn't entirely truthful in his.
Of course not.
No, and as we find out, kind of has his hooks into Sumner as well, and it kind of manipulates him.
Right.
Through the promise of work and money that...
Yeah, which means that Sumner asked to work on the land prior.
We do need to point out Sumner. When we say Sumner, of course, we mean Royal's father.
Yeah. Let me find out his first name.
He's got some debts. He's got some serious problems. So... anything that can save his farm, anything that can save.
He's selling his cow when we first see him.
He's saving his fucking cow, which his wife has a real problem with because they won't survive without that cow. She's a little bit more.
Yeah, whereas Sumner was like, well, I got to pay for the shoes, and, It's like, now, I don't know how much extra he owed.
I hate to sound like the woke guy here, but this is why Netter and I are 100% partners in our marriage when it comes to finances. In fact, to some degree, I kind of defer to her because she's got a better head for money.
Well, I just know what's in our bank account, what we can afford.
Well, yes.
Yeah, because I take care of the finances. But it's like, I don't know how much more he owed on the shoes. I can't expect it was that much because he already paid the guy whatever the old price was.
It's hard to, because we could do the actual math to figure out how much he was short, but I don't know what that means in,
right,
terms
but
of
I think
modern
selling
money,
the cow or giving the cow to the guy was overkill as far as he was giving him way too much to pay this very small debt.
Actually, David, you're not wrong. He says it sounds like everyone was up Shit's Creek. He's not wrong.
Maybe the leftover money was drinking money. Or gambling money. Actually, I could. They didn't say anything about that.
Look, Netter and I just got back from the liquor store, and I'm just thankful that we have enough fluidity to buy the fluid.
Maybe that was Levi's plan. He was going to go to the poker table with what was left of the money.
There you go.
Levi Sumner is his name, by the way, and because of this change in history, the blue jeans industry was completely altered. I'm kidding, of course.
Let me tell you. Okay, as a side note, guys, if you are history buffs, look up the history of Levi Strauss and the whole, jeans industry. It's very, very interesting. And how it played into American history.
Oh, yeah.
And where Levi Strauss himself eventually ended up is...
Yes! Oh, see, Okay, good man. Good man.
Yes.
This is why we're simpatico. This is why we're friends. Anyway. Yeah.
So I thought it was overkill for him to be trying to give this guy his cow for whatever pittance he might have owed for the shoes. And I think his wife was right, going, "You're not selling or giving away our cow."
It was an interesting confrontation. She brings out the freaking shotgun.
Yeah, and then her husband backhands her, and
oh yeah, the dude's like, "Dude, your wife, manage her,"
And she's used to getting hit. It looked like too.
And it really looked like Royal was used to seeing it.
Yep.
And dealing with it.
And getting hit himself.
Well, and then he had the whole shoe thing going on and everything. He was at his breaking point too.
Yeah, because his father said, "How the shoes feel?" He goes, "They hurt." He goes, "You'll grow into them."
And he said, "Pain is good. It'll help you grow." It's like, fuck you, old man.
Yeah. So, cow dude.
Just an aside, I really related to Royal on this. My dad died a couple years ago, and I recently said to Netter, I said, "You know what? I'm just so glad my dad's not around to vote in the next election, because he always voted Democrat." And I'm like, oh, fuck. We live in Illinois. He's probably still going to vote Democrat. I'm kind of not kidding.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Damn
it, it's my stream. I can be political if I want
you
to.
You asked me to tell the story.
I know, I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you.
I get a sentence in,
this
is
the 30-plus years of marriage. She should be used to being interrupted, which is wrong.
You're still within throwing distance, and I got heavy things.
Yes, and I would deserve to be hit by one of them.
Anyway, so as Royal's dad is talking to the guy who wants his cow, the fellow that Joy didn't kill comes up on his horse going, we need to track this Indian and da-da-da, and, they did all this stuff, blah, 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 basically make up a pack of lies. So, Royal's dad's like, it's best to track on foot, tells Royal to grab another shotgun, which is like twice his size, and tells him to hurry up.
Which reminds me, I kind of like to invest in a shotgun. We really need one.
But don't
I was thinking M16, but sure, okay.
Don't forget though.
Look, I don't want to have to get a friggin' license and
I could shoot an M16.
I know you can, but
they're going by to the sheriff, I think, and the mayor of the town and all that, and they're saying, you know, and there's the townspeople are getting stirred up in a fury, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's taking your side, Netter, and to be honest with you, they're right.
Anyway, so Royal is dad, and the guy that Joy didn't kill, I think the other guy went someplace else. Maybe he went back to town or something. I don't know. But anyways, those three of them are out trying to track the Indian because Royal's dad apparently is really good at tracking.
But Joy sent the girl back to the tribe to warn them.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, they're tracking Joy because they know that she's injured.
Yes, they're literally tracking her because of her blood trail.
So, because she had been sitting on the ground next to a tree, she forces herself up. She's trying to, like, hobble along to try and get somewhere. And they see big drops of blood on the ground. And at one point, Royal's dad goes to the guy on the horse, who's the one that Joy didn't kill, and says something about, you know, can you stop making so much noise with your horse? And he's like, well, you know, look, what are you talking about? He goes, you're making so much noise clopping around on that thing that you're announcing that we're coming. Get off the darn horse and walk. You know, before they, you alert them that we're coming.
Yeah, because Royal's dad, like, actually was a really good tracker.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's interesting about his character is that he does have these what I refer to as moments of clarity, like telling the guy to get down off his horse, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
the
called
guy
nuance.
It is, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because everybody has their talents, right? Everyone has their strengths,
positive attributes. Even people like him. Yes.
Right.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah. So he gets off his horse because Royal's dad's really ticked at him, and for whatever reason, he went ahead of Royal and his dad.
Yep.
And he gets to the river where the two young Indians had crossed, and he sees some blood on the ground. And it's like, and then they show a shot of the water, and I'm like, yeah, you can't truck blood through water, dumbass.
Which is exactly why Joy went into the water. She knew what she was doing. It was brilliant.
So
this is a great little chess game.
So she's actually across the pond behind a tree.
Yeah.
And
wait a minute. What were you going to say? Deleted?
No, I was just going to say you could still see where she dragged herself up that little hill because he's looking straight up at it and he looks right up and there she is.
It's kind of brilliant, right? It's like she was thinking her way through, but he sees past it. It's a great little, like I said, a great little chess game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she's behind this tree. The guy sees the trail across the small river, stream really, and Joy.
I think it was meant to be a river, but
it was small.
Yeah, for the sake of the story, they made it a stream. Yeah.
Sweetie, you interrupt me one more time. I'm throwing something at you.
No, I'm just doing some clarification.
I'm expecting some fucking shit to go flying.
No, he doesn't get my slippers.
Thanks a lot, man. You're helping a lot.
No. See, Hispanic women will take off their slipper and they'll smack the guy with it.
She'll just beat the shit out of me.
I've got things at my disposal I can throw. Anyway, so he, is at the stream. He looks across, sees the blood going up the other side. And I don't know if he made some noise or something, but Joy's behind this tree. She comes out, her arm arcing, shoots at the guy, kills him. Mm-hmm. And then she leans back against the tree again, out of sight, trying to catch her breath because she's in a lot of pain and all that. And then she tries to go on further. She doesn't get too much farther before she collapses, like against a berm. And Royal and his dad catch up to her.
Yeah.
And Dad's being an ass because that's what he is.
Oh, he sees her as just someone he can kill.
I think didn't he say something like Indians have no soul? Sorry to interrupt, but I think he mentioned something like that.
Oh, did he? But
he mentioned something about that, yeah.
So again, if you want to if you want to hyper read into this some sort of woke agenda, you could do that. But honestly, again, this is pretty historically accurate. There were assholes like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know.
So Joy's talking to him, saying, the only thing that the future is going to hold for you is that when you die, your family is going to rejoice that you're not around anymore. And then he tells Royal to kill her. He goes, just like I taught you, look down the sight. And Royal's looking down the sight of a shotgun, and Joy is looking at Royal going, you're not this man. I know you're not this man. I know
because
you.
she knows the adult Royal.
Yeah.
You know.
And then Royal turns his weapon onto his dad, bam, blows him away.
Which is brilliant storytelling, because you realize there's a cognitive dissonance in Royal, in what he remembers and what actually happened.
And his dad is ragging on him the entire time. Come on, boy, like, are you stupid? Come on, what did I tell you?
But what's key, you could almost tie this to, and this is a trope, you've seen it in many other films, many other Westerns, and I include Star Wars in that. Star Wars is really a Western in space. That whole interplay between Greedo and Han Solo, right? Where he says, over my dead body. Oh, I'll bet you have. I've waited a long time for this. Blam. He's like, you're going to kill me anyway. I'm going to kill you first, right? It's the same. This is exactly playing out the exact same way. Real quick, I want to say hi to DJ Play Nice. Dude, you've been encouraging the hell out of me for so many streams. I appreciate you being here. Thanks, my friend. And he says salute to Netters Network.
Oh, of course you do.
Absolutely. Oh, of course, because she's the better partner in this marriage. Let's.
And I'm getting some wowzers on my new avatar there.
Enigma needs to drop out. Enigma, I hope you come back and catch the rest of this, because we're not even through the first episode here.
Because Troy won't let me talk.
I know. I'm but I feel like we're having fun, so I hope you come back, my friend.
Yep. And you can always watch the rest of this on the rewind.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
So, like I said, he's got he's looking down the shotgun at Joy, and Joy's telling him, I know you're not like this, you're not this person. And his dad is ragging on him.
Wait, I want to underscore what you just said. The father's not going to shoot her. He's making his son do it. His 10, 11-year-old son.
Because Joy even says something to him like, oh, you're going to shoot me? He goes, no, I'm going to make him do it. And referring to Royal.
And that's when she's like, Royal, you're a good man. Where I'm from, people like him,
Yeah, and that's when she told the dad, when you're gone, the only thing your family's going to do is rejoice that you're not around anymore. And then he starts calling Royal names and calling him like stupid and stuff.
And says something about his mother and how I wish I didn't have any.
Oh yeah, I what was it? Something like I hope.
I hope she
your mother dies so then I don't have
her.
to deal with any of you again or something, like not wanting the family.
And that's pretty much what makes Royal turn his gun on his father and just blow him away. And honestly, as a son with a father like that, this is just real. I was able to relate to that because my father was an asshole like that. And I was like, dude, just shoot the fucker. Just shoot the fucker. And he does.
And then like, Royal drops his weapon, starts to cry, and then just
runs
he's a
off. 11-year-old boy.
Because he realized the horror of what he just did, even though it was a necessity.
He did the right thing, but he...
And then Joy starts running after him. Now, here's a part that I find a little unbelievable. She starts off...
I will defend this story plot with adrenaline.
Hold on, let me
finish. Okay, just...
She starts off running after him, but she's kind of limping as she's doing it. She's doing that kind of limp run. And then all of a sudden, it's a full-out sprint. Like, she's not feeling anything. She's
yelling, Royal, Royal!
And then he falls into the hole, and then she jumps into the hole right after him.
It was...
And then in the hole, she's trying to grab onto him, and he kept getting out of her grasp. And they get
separated. So you realize very quickly... Their separation in the hole means he ends up in his time, she ends up in her time. Because we've already seen her emerge from the hole. But we don't really know the backstory of how that ends up happening. What I do want to say about that is, although there's nothing that directly indicates it, I have to imagine that Joy, as she's seeing the hole open up in front of them, and let me come back to that in just a moment, she sees the hole open up in front of them, and she's got to see that as, this is my way home.
Yeah.
At the same time, she's going after Royal, right? Now let me back up. This hole opens up, and in my mind, as I was watching this, I honestly thought, this is the timeline trying to correct itself. You both, Royal and Joy, have done your due in the ontological paradox. Time to send you to where you belong. For Royal, it's where he needs to meet up with Cece and have his history, and for Joy, get you back to your own time. Now, Joy has spent 4 years in the past. She has aged 4 years, but she comes out of that hole with being found by adult Royal.
Only 3 days after she disappeared.
I actually had forgotten that detail. Thank you.
Yeah, because she's like...
She's aged 4 years
and she's like,
in 3 days.
How long have I been gone or something? He goes, oh no, she goes, I've been gone for years. I'm so glad to be back. And he's like, it's been 3 days since you went missing.
And remember, she is still suffering blood loss. So she's not all entirely compos mentis.
Yeah, so then Royal gets her into his truck, starts driving her to the hospital, and her deputies start following them. Actually, he stops off at a gas station to get her some water because it's like she really needs to drink.
He needs to get gas. Yeah. Someone else that's gassing up is one of her deputies. Yeah. Playing nice, but starts following.
Yeah, so she says, take me to the Indian Reservation hospital.
Right. She knows that once she's on the reservation,
the white cops can't follow.
They are out of jurisdiction.
Well, not only that, the Indian cops will not allow the white man to come on there.
Well, especially after they stop him, and she says, "Let us through and stop the guys following us."
Yeah.
One of the reservation cops is her cousin.
Yeah. So it's like Royal pulls up, and the reservation cops are like, "Yeah, turn around, white boy, go," and then. He kind of sees Joy through the windshield. And he's like, what the hell? And he goes
None
around.
Of your business.
And she just says, let us through. We got to get to the hospital. He didn't do this to me.
I got to say goodnight to JPRPH1. He has to work in the morning. He's enjoying the stream, but he's saying take care. Dude, thank you so much. Channel member, supporter, really a producer of this stream. So... thank you, boss. Take care.
Yeah. So Joy explains that Royal didn't shoot her. She needs to get to the hospital. Let him through. Yeah,
there was a lot of distrust and miscommunication.
Because first he thinks that Royal shot her, and he's like, "Put your hands on the steering wheel where I can see him." And that's when Joy's like, "No, he didn't shoot me. Just let us through."
Yes.
And so he lets him through and Royal goes...
Wait a minute. One important point that we're missing. We got to back up. Remember, the whole reason she was on his land in the first place, she's investigating him.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So there's that element between them. Go on.
But as they were driving to the reservation, she's like, go to the reservation. And Royal took a second and he goes... because they can't follow us there. Because the white men aren't allowed on that land without permission.
See, I don't know how many people realize this, but Indian reservations are... What?
You interrupted me again.
This is relevant for the understanding. What did you throw at me?
Chapstick.
Oh, okay. This is relevant. The reservations are considered by law, by U.S. law, to be, it's on the ground, we'll find it later, to be literally a separate sovereign country.
Yes.
That's an important point that I don't think they make clear enough in the narrative, but it is important.
Yeah.
But they do. I've seen it on other shows too. Like I've been watching. Yeah, but yeah, it is a.
Well, yeah. And that says something about Out of Range, right? It doesn't. It assumes a certain level of knowledge of the viewer.
Actually, yeah, that was the wonderful thing. No, sorry to interrupt again. On Tulsa King, when the cops are chasing I think one of the characters from that, and they go, the guy's barn and says, "We want to talk to that guy." He says, "Yeah, well, guess what? This is native land, so you can get the F out." Because even though he's a white guy who owns the property, it is on permission of whatever tribe. He's like, "You can get off," and thank you kindly.
Yep.
And they had no jurisdiction, even though they were police officers. Anyway.
So I did. This was kind of new to me, and from my research, it actually seems to be true. So you've got a couple of Native American, cops from the reservation sitting on the main road in, and they're basically, their job is, hey, anyone coming in, they pull them over and say, hey, who are you and why are you coming here? Yeah. Are you even allowed here? It's the equivalent of a border wall. Just saying.
There was almost a meta narrative when the one Indian was talking about a time travel story and this, and it's like, that's a terrible idea for a story.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right.
So Joy and Royal go through the reservation, get her to the hospital where she does surgery and all that. They get her fixed up. He's then talking to her in her room, and they start talking about the time travel stuff. And she's sitting there going, I traveled through time. I was in, this Indian reservation in the 1800s. Da, da, da. She goes, and I know you went through it too because I just told you I time traveled. You didn't even blink.
Yep. She calls him out. She calls him out in a brilliant way. Absolutely.
Yeah. In the meantime, her deputies are stopped by the Indian reservation cops, and they're like, no, white boy, go away. And I guess it's like her closest deputy, I don't know what you would call it, her deputy, goes up to the Indian car, takes off his gun belt, lays it on the hood. He goes, I just want to make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
I just want to see her. I want to see she's okay. And the Indian cop is just looking at him like, So he takes off his badge, puts that down too. So now he's not wearing anything that is cop merchandise.
I guess this is him as a friend. As a friend.
Yeah.
He's just going in as a regular person. They allow him to go in.
Yeah.
So he goes in to find out how she is and all that sort of thing. But yeah, they were giving him a hard time where they weren't giving Royal a hard time at all.
Well, there comes a point where you realize what's what.
Although there's a funny bit when Joy goes into surgery, Royal's sitting in the waiting room, and the cousin is sitting next to him talking to him, and then he leaves for a bit. And then
actually, he's not sitting next to him; he's sitting behind him, and that's important because it's like I want to converse with you, but we're not on the same page. Yeah. Is how I read it.
So then somebody comes out and says to Royal, "Joy wants to talk to you." Are you sure to me? He goes, "You're the only white boy here."
Yeah, she said you wanted to talk to the white boy. You're the only white boy here.
Yeah. That was kind of funny. Okay, you can go on from there.
No. I'm. It's up to you guys because I'm 12 sheets to the wind.
Yeah, it's like the last thing I'm remembering is her deputy being in the waiting room, and he said something to Royal now, and I don't remember. Royal just walked out.
You know what? Deleted. It's deleted. I'm calling him deleted, but I meant David.
Oh,
family is often who you decide to be your family. Mm-hmm. You know what? That's why Netter, when she closes the stream, she says, "You are our family.
Yep.
We have decided that you are part of our family." So
absolutely.
There you go.
And one of the other things I always mention is if I don't see one of you guys for a while, I worry.
We're still kind of really worried about...
apparently, she's just been really busy, Lady V.
Lady V? Yeah.
She's fine. She actually sent her love to me through Curtis Selby. So
Amen. Okay.
Yeah, so I know she's okay. She's been really, really busy, and so she hasn't had a chance to stop by. So I know she's okay. So
Curtis,
I'm okay
if she needs anything that we can provide, let us know. Okay.
Yeah, it's like I just know that she said that she's really busy.
That's what I mean by family and community. So
yeah.
Sorry, guys. Boomer deleted. Go ahead.
Cece has a bad dream.
Oh gosh.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Oh, that's a whole separate story that I didn't even touch on. Yeah, go ahead.
This is where. Sorry, Boomer. Just in a second. This is where the show kind of goes into David Lynch territory because it has the dream
exactly.
imagery,
Yes.
These scenes that get drawn out almost to the point of being uncomfortable, but that's kind of the point.
Yep.
So when we get to the whole subplot with Cece and because I keep wanting to call her Amy now, Autumn. And this whole weird kind of Thelma and Louise partnership that they kind of develop over the course of this episode. It's just this side of uncomfortable, like I said.
Yep.
It's this little bit
that's a great that's a great description.
Are these two really? It's like it's the team I didn't know I wanted because I don't want them.
I dig it.
It's because when they get to the scene in the church.
Yep.
And this is where it's going to get. This is going to be me saying something a little controversial here. And when the pastor snaps back at her, and I'm like, "Whoa,
yep,
take it down the notch, pal, because you're showing who you really are right now."
Exactly, I felt the same way.
Because and I say this from personal experience, these guys can be full of shit.
Yep.
Well, she calls him out. Cece calls him out. It's like, whoa, that's not exactly.
That's not Christian.
But to be fair, I could also say he might have been having a bad day or a bad moment there.
It's not an excuse. When you're in that position, you can't afford yourself that luxury.
True. Well, remember, even Jesus complained about the Pharisees, So,
exactly. Well, and Jesus also said that as a leader, you are called to a higher standard.
I mean, you had good Pharisees, like Nicodemus, I think, was a good one.
Jeez, right? He was like, put Jesus in my tomb, for crying out loud.
Yeah. But he was, what was it, though? There's another part, though, in the episode with the phone call. Actually, I will say this. After that scene with the preacher, though, I'm sorry, I didn't go back to that. I think Autumn and Cece have a good moment there, because Cece's actually giving her, maybe showing her some, I don't know if the word grace is the right word, but, maybe a little bit of compassion and not because here's the instance where she could probably dump on Autumn if she wanted to, but no, she doesn't. She kind of tries to raise her up a bit.
Right.
Yeah. And we do have that interesting phone call, right?
Well, I mean, honestly, I felt like it was for a while there. It was like Autumn was trying to demonstrate to Cece, look, your religion is bullshit, is what she was really trying to get at. And I'm not sure that's where she is by the end of the last episode we're talking about. I think she's like, individuals could be effed up, but that doesn't mean your religion is.
Yes.
I think that's where it's going. I don't know for sure.
Yeah. But there was a weird. I mean, do we want to talk about her investigations, bringing her back to the Indian gentleman who was doing the sweat lodge thing? Remember that?
Oh yeah, that's a whole separate story. Where we should probably get into that.
Because that's a tense moment. Like, he has the gun pointed on her, and I wonder if he was actually going to shoot her because he's furious.
Yeah, let's back up and set the stage for that.
Yeah. Deleted scene, set the stage.
Yeah, right.
I know they were doing their
Okay.
So
we in the previous episode, Cecilia goes to the home of a guy named Lewis, who is tied in with Rebecca somehow, and she has the idea that he might have.
It's not my fault you threw your chapstick at me. I can't find it now.
Okay.
I'm too drunk to. Oh no! I found it. Do you see it right here?
Okay.
Okay. Deleted scene.
The case of missing chapstick has been solved.
Hey, we found it. We're good. Thank you.
I threw the good one, not the empty one.
You should have thrown the empty one. That's your fault.
You need to clip that later and have it as a short.
Good point. Good point.
Go ahead. Sorry, deleted.
Remind me on Sunday because I'm not going to remember.
Right. So, of course, Lewis is not very cooperative at the time. I mean, he is. He gives her a little bit of information. He doesn't tell her everything, but he gives her enough to go on. Anyway, she returns to Lewis to apologize because, you know, she brought a shotgun to a sweat lodge fight, and Lewis is not none pleased, and he has his own firearm, and
he threatens her.
He threatens her, but Cecilia says, "No, I'm here to apologize. I just want to know where my granddaughter is. I just want to talk to her." And so he calls up Rebecca. He says, "Look, I'm tired of the fucking back and forth. Rebecca, just let her know where the kid is. Talk to her." So he gives her the phone, and Rebecca says, "You have 1 minute." And she puts Amy on, and Amy was
Amy was pretty much.
You lied to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you again.
She's been brainwashed. She's believing what her mother said.
Hold on, though.
Okay.
She says that her mom said that you ran her off the property. And
Right.
I didn't hear Cece denying it, and part of me is wondering, wait a minute, is there more going on than we know about? Maybe
Probably.
it's a lie. Maybe it's a lie that her mother told her to get her against her you know, her family. Or maybe that really did happen and she didn't tell Royal or anybody else about it.
No.
We don't know.
Here's what happened, Boomer. Is she found out, Cece found out that Rebecca was having an affair.
Right.
And she basically busted Rebecca on it. And that's what made Rebecca leave.
Okay.
So that's how that whole thing started out.
It was probably something she should have told to her son instead of confronting her. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the right call.
It's a little. Maybe I need to go back and watch that episode again.
You might have been correct. Yeah,
because it feels like there's a kind of a piece missing there that we haven't been told yet, or maybe I just missed it. But you know, long story short, Amy is pretty much Team Rebecca at this point. So.
Okay, but
we do see. Go ahead.
I was going to say Autumn though is, I guess, now maybe warming up to CC, and Autumn also gets a gift from somebody, right?
Yeah, true.
If I'm going too far ahead, I apologize.
You kind of jump ahead, but let me set the stage here where we've already had Royal claiming that Autumn is in fact his granddaughter through temporal shenanigans.
Because she's got the same scar as Amy.
Same scar on her forehead, exactly. And Autumn doesn't really remember. She's got Swiss cheese memory. She doesn't remember her childhood. So it's, from her perspective, what Royal is suggesting is entirely possible.
Right.
Yeah. So, where was I? Where were you? Where were we? So Amy's been brainwashed. She doesn't want to talk to Cece anymore. Cece's devastated because, like, this is her granddaughter. And
again, when we say Amy, we mean the, whatever, 8-year-old child. Yeah.
Yes.
9-year-old child.
Oh, actually, she's 8. She's not even 9 yet.
Right.
Because there was something said that Autumn said she doesn't remember anything
since she was 9 years old.
Yeah.
So again, we don't have 100% confirmation that Autumn and Amy are the same individual, but
it's a pretty good guess.
That's what we're kind of led to believe right now. That's what Royal believes. And honestly, at this point, Autumn is starting to believe it too.
Well, not to get us to the end of the episode already, but there was a scene where they're looking in the mirror when she was on a certain substance. Or maybe
so do you want to go ahead and jump ahead to the second episode for her sake? She receives some of that mineral.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw this out right now. My current theory on this is that that mineral from the whatever you want to call it, the hole in the ground or whatever.
Bell's hole.
If this is sci-fi and not like magic, I believe that element or that compound is some sort of gray goo. For those of you that know what that is, some sort of nanotechnology from the future. That's what I think it is. I don't know if that's the case, but
it looks like chewing tobacco, but it's not.
It does look like chewing tobacco. I said it looked like hematite sand, but however you want to look at it.
Well, I also thought it was chewing tobacco because those guys were always chewing on
kept
chalk.
putting it in their mouth and stuff. Yeah, but they were using it as a drug. That's the important.
Now I'm wondering what the actual prop is made from. Is it like some kind of pop rock, maybe? I don't know.
I suspect not, because then you'd hear the crackling on the.
We edit that out in the sound.
Oh, right, exactly. God, I love.
Or maybe it's rock candy. I didn't think about that. Some kind of rock candy.
There's that too.
Gosh, I haven't had rock candy since I was a kid.
I tried making that myself once. I failed.
No, but, you did a pretty decent job because we did it for our Superman thingy.
Yeah, we were trying to make kryptonite rock candy, and I don't feel like it really worked out. But
I thought it worked out pretty good.
But anyway, yes, we have found out that this element is used as a hallucinogenic. We're gonna say hallucinogenic drug.
Let's just say that's what it is.
I think that's overly simplified, but for the sake of argument, let's say that right now.
Okay. Now Autumn, the son that is now comatose, who's Boomer's avatar. I'm blanking on his name right now. A lot of I keep blanking on names for some reason on this show, and I shouldn't.
Well, it doesn't help that you go a year and a half between seasons, you know.
No. Yeah. But the thing is he keeps having these weird little, especially through season 1, because they didn't explain it at that time. Is he keeps having these weird little asides where you think, okay, yes, all of that is just going on in his head. No, that's going on because he is taking this hallucinogenic.
It's a big part of it.
And that's a big part of it, yeah.
So from the brother, I forget what his name is, he gives some of this black drug, this black mineral to to Autumn, she's using it as a drug. And in so doing, she starts to, should we say, hallucinate? I think for the sake of argument, that's the best way to describe it. She looks in the mirror and she sees her 9-year-old doppelganger. I don't know what you guys think, but I kind of felt like the 9-year-old doppelganger also was looking in the mirror and seeing her. I think this is a timey-wimey kind of thing. It's not just
That's
a
the
hallucination.
impression I got.
See? Okay, so I'm not so far off on this. Okay. So, almost another ontological paradox, right? Despite her Swiss cheese memory, there's a connection between her and her younger self. In a temporal sense.
Yeah.
Or it's just a big dream hallucination. That's a possibility too. Just throwing that out.
I don't know. It's a weird show.
Well, also, it's like every time Autumn looks at the family pictures on the wall, she gets this look like she's remembering.
Was this played to be scary or silly? Somewhere in the middle, I think.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to look at these things and say, take it seriously and try to see it from the point of view of the viewer.
Yeah.
You know, like you try to look at this from the point of view of Autumn. You try to look at it from the point of view of whoever this character is. I forget his fucking name.
The middle son, yeah.
The middle son, yeah, whatever.
Or the youngest, or what the fuck he was.
They're trying, these are real, normal, you know, imagine yourself in that situation trying to deal with, you know, the temporal mechanics and the hallucinations and whatever euphoria this mineral imparts on you. It's a clusterfuck in your brain. So I wouldn't say scary or silly. I would say it's somewhere in between.
It seems to depend on the personality of whoever's taking it as well.
Yeah,
that's kind of the impression that I'm getting. The son whose name I can't remember.
Well, keep in mind, alcohol is the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Alcohol is technically a depressive drug, but most people consider it to be a mood enhancer. If you're out partying, having a good time, and you're drinking, you're getting into the partying, right? If you're at home, alone, depressed, and you're drinking alcohol, you're going to be a little bit more depressed. So I honestly feel like this mineral, or whatever it is, kind of the same thing. In that regard. Do you disagree, Boomer?
No, I mean, I'm just thinking about it. I'm just trying to think, would I want to try that? What do you think?
No. I don't want to Look, Mark Melnikoff if he's still here, he may not still be here, but one of the things that Mark Melnikoff likes to say is, Troy was right. Every time he reads a headline or something like that, he goes, oh, Troy was right again. And I'm not fired up about being right, right? I'm an armchair historian who kind of knows history and can make good predictions based on history. You know, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And so I can tell you what I expect to happen. And then when it happens, he's like, oh, Troy was right. I'm like, this isn't some great insight. I'm not some big seer or something. It's just I know my history, right? So, anyway. But, anyway. So let's take it back. So Joy is about to be shot by Royal. Royal turns and shoots his dad instead. He drops his gun. He gets emotional and he starts to run. So what does Joy do?
She takes off after him.
She takes off after him. Why? Out of compassion. She realizes this is a boy who's suffering. Yes, he just saved my life, But more importantly, he's a boy who just shot his father. For a good cause, yes. But he needs help. I need to help him. And she knows, even though she doesn't know, she knows. This is Royal Abbott. This is her friend in the future. She has to help him. If for no other reason, he just saved her life. So she starts running after him. Now, I know Netter had an issue with this because she's taking a shot in the leg. How is she able to run? I'm saying friggin' adrenaline.
Okay, the other thing, not to do with that, the other thing that kind of has me, I don't know, confused is originally the amount that they needed to pay the neighboring guy who the jerk
That they owed money to, yeah.
was $50,000. In the last episode, it became $500,000. It's like, what?
There may have been a continuity error. I didn't look that far into it. Oh, gosh. Mark was actually listening when I said that. He said, billboard on my model railroad says Troy was right. Mark is big on trains. He's got himself a model railroad in his house, and yes, he's got a billboard sign as part of his diorama that says Troy was right. Because every other day he sends me an email, Troy was right, and I'm like, what the fuck was I right again about? And he sends me some article that he feels I predicted, and I'm like, look, history repeats. Or it doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. However you want to fucking put it, it's easy to predict the future when you look at the past. Just saying. But, yeah. So. Very Cronenberg. Actually, David, you're not far off with that. There is a Cronenbergian-esque. Have I put too many? You know what
I've never heard that.
But you knew what I meant. That's what's important.
Cronenbergian-esque or Cronenbergy
Cronenberg-esque or Cronenbergian. I understand. You're not supposed to combine the two.
I've never heard that. Maybe the proper term should be Cronenburlesque.
You know what I meant.
Okay.
Cronenburlesque.
I don't.
Dun, 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 dun.
Now I'm thinking of Jeff Goldblum from The Fly, but instead of taking his clothes off, he rips his skin
Oh,
off.
God. Oh, God. Oh, God. No. I know exactly what you're talking about. Damn it.
Brundle Fly.
Let me tell you, of all the remakes, the Fly remake was probably the best remake I've ever seen.
Do you know why it was? Because when they were making the Fly remake, in fact, Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum Kronberg, they sent Vincent Price a letter. They said, look, we are not trying to ape on the original, replace it.
Right.
We love the original, we honor it, and we're going to try to make a movie that's a complement to it, not a replacement. And they said that, and I think it's a great movie. It's all right. The original Fly is a great movie, too. And
I agree.
And I think they went into it with respect. It's like John Carpenter's The Thing. John Carpenter loved The Thing. That's
actually a great point.
Yes.
That is a great analogy.
Yeah.
The Thing and its remake and The Fly and its remake, they are very different, but they kept the core things that needed to be there.
Yes.
It was like, we respect the past. There are things we want to improve on. Here they are. And, boy, maybe I'm stretching it, but I would say this is almost the same feeling I get about the remake or reimagining, however you want to put it, of Battlestar Galactica, right? We're going to keep the elements that we think are crucial, but there are some things I think we can improve on and make it its own thing. And you're like, yeah. The only thing I ever held against the Fly remake, what bothered me, was the relationship between Brundle and the girl. In the original, they were married couple.
Yes.
And in the remake, they were a one-night stand, basically.
Well, they probably would have started a relationship had he just been normal.
I agree with you, but it's like you don't have the same level of connection there.
Well, no, but it's a different movie. That's how.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So you can almost overlook that. Boy, we got totally off topic, but I feel like that was a good commentary on the narrative, so to speak.
Oh man, I have to say though, did we miss anything deleted scenes? I'm trying to think back now.
Again, we're trying to finish off the first one. We really haven't.
No, these are both parts. These are both episodes.
We touched on the second one, but we really never got into it.
What are you talking about? What else happened?
The second episode, right, is she is now coming out of the hole, and who's standing there but an adult royal?
Yeah, we talked about that, honey. How much you can drink?
Well, no, I know. But we got to get her to the hospital. Yeah. I know. We talked about this.
Okay, all right. Okay.
But we got to get past that part that we talked about to get to the fact that she's in her hospital bed and she asks for Royal, right?
Yes.
We mentioned this. You sure she means me? You're the only white guy here, so he goes in. And it's just the two of them. So she can talk candidly with him.
Basically,
right?
they have something in common now.
Yeah, and she calls him out on it. And this is him having to deal with his misremembering. Just deal with it. I'm using wrong words. Misremembering of his own history, right? Because he remembers going on a hunting expedition and accidentally shooting his father. She's saying, no. I was there. You shot your... Go ahead, delete it.
It's basically the trope of the unreliable narrator, but it's not so much that. It's just that he has psychologically blocked this out of his mind.
Well, and that's why he's the unreliable narrator, because... he has sanitized it in his own memory.
He's basically, I kind of thought of it this way. This is what came to mind.
Real quick, let's answer David's question. Unfortunately, only two more episodes after tonight's talk. So we'll be doing one more episode in a couple weeks to talk about the last two episodes. And I do mean last two episodes because we've been told the show's been canceled. That's what we're dealing with.
Which totally sucks because they keep doing that with really good shows. I mean, they did that with Firefly too, and it's like, everyone loved the show. Why are you canceling it?
David makes another great point. This is getting worse than Lost. I don't know if all of these leads are going to be followed up on. Well, we just addressed that. Since they are canceling it at the end of this season. Boomer, have you seen the last two episodes?
No.
See, I haven't either. Netter hasn't.
Well, I wouldn't.
Deleted?
You did.
Deleted is okay. So we haven't seen the last two seasons, but my speculation is we won't get resolution after the last two seasons.
Not to everything.
Or last two episodes, I mean.
But going back to where we were about the unreliable narrator.
Yes.
Is at this point in the story, Royal reminds me a lot of the Tom Stahl character from A History of Violence.
Okay.
Now, here's I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent here.
Go ahead.
Now,
take us all around the world because that'll bring us back to where we need to be.
A History of Violence is based on this, and somebody brought up David Cronenberg. David brought up David Cronenberg in the chat. A History of Violence was directed by David Cronenberg.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And
doesn't get enough credit, by the way, as a director. He
does not. No.
They keep focusing in. You think Cronenberg, you think body horror, and fair enough, but there's way more to him than that.
Yeah, but to be fair, I think his body horror movies are great too, though. So, but anyway, go ahead.
But
I don't disagree with you.
And I'll get to what I think is the body horror aspect of the History of Violence. Now, A History of Violence is based on a graphic novel.
Yep.
And it connects together fairly differently. He is from the city. I don't remember if it was Philadelphia or not. It might have been. the mobsters are Italian in the book. They're Irish in the film. So
there
are a lot
Polish.
of like really, yeah. All right, so there are a lot of little changes like that in the film, between the film and graphic novel. The character from the book that the Ed Harris character from the film represents, the son killed him in the film. Spoiler alert, but not really, because it happens like halfway through the movie. Mm-hmm. In the graphic novel, the wife does it. So there are little changes like that. Now, what the character in the graphic novel does, when he just, because he's not a gangster in the book, he's just this kid, and this gangster kills like a buddy of his, and he decides he's gonna train, and he's gonna take he and his remaining buddies are gonna go and take this guy down themselves. Mm-hmm. I said there's this whole long sequence in the book where they find this guy who takes them out to the woods and trains them during the day, and at night they stay up all night and smoke weed. It's kind of, anyway, so it's kind of like that. So you kind of want I don't know if you have the right instructor here, but okay. So what happens is he and his buddies, they have the whole shootout and whatever, and they decide that once they have done this, they're going to go their separate ways, right? So they're not all together, and anyway, and then they'll meet up later. Now, one of them gets caught. And that's the Richie character in the book. Richie's not his brother in the book. So that's another difference. But anyway, I'm kind of going point by point here. But long story short, in the book, he does not have this psychotic break that he has. Where, as he says in the movie, I killed Joey. I went out to the desert and I killed him. That doesn't happen. He just simply changes his name, and he goes off and lives in this small town and becomes Tom Stahl. And but so you have the Richie Cusack character in the film, who is involved with these gangsters, who is crazy and did take this guy's eye out. And so, the Ed Harris character has a genuine reason for wanting to come after him, once he has been exposed by the shootout in the cafe, and now his face is all over the news. So I kind of see Royal as once he gets to the Abbotts, he becomes that Tom Stahl-like character. He now has chosen to forget his past, and that's the body horror of the film. What I feel is the body horror in the history of violence. It's not this physical transformation into a fly, like in like in that film. It's not it's not this guy who's got multiple ears growing out of his head, like in Crimes of the Future. It's not like Videodrome, where you're basically got a guy who's literally being programmed like a VCR.
Yeah, basically. I didn't think about it that way, but yeah.
What it is he chooses to become this other person. He does whatever he has to go and do to forget who he was, so that he can become this other man. And it's like that's what Royal has done. He has chosen to forget who he was. And now being confronted by someone who has gone through essentially what he did, and now remembering that not only has she gone through what he's gone through, she went through it with him at the same time.
That makes sense.
True.
And
but
that's
she
kind
is
of
also
yeah.
She is also not the first, because in the 1980s he meets his son before he's even married Cece.
Mm-hmm. And this is something else that he has chosen to sort of suppress. But I think and again, this is just conjecture on my part, not telling anybody that he's met Perry before.
Right.
I think that's just him not wanting to create a paradox in the timeline. That's how I look at that. But then again, we don't have closure to that storyline yet. Perry is still
true, but
engaged.
I think you're absolutely right. I think he's like, oh, damn, this shit is complicated enough. Let's not make it harder.
And that's why when he finally brings Cece to the hole at the end of the episode, that's him laying his cards out on the table.
Yeah.
In History of Violence, he admits who he is when he has a gun to his head.
Right.
And this all happens in front of his wife and kids. I should have killed your miserable ass back in Philly. Yeah, you should have. Blam.
Right.
It's he has to admit who he is with a gun to his head. This is Royal avoiding that gun to his head moment. And just look, I've got to just straight up, I got to tell you who I am, where I came from, and how she's going to react to that. We're going to find out in the next 2 episodes. But
he's got this great moment where he says to Joy, he and Joy are talking about this timey-wimey bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, he's kind of been called out by Joy on his temporal longevity. I don't know how else to describe it. And he's like, look, because I've been there and you've been there, I'm going to give you some advice. And I'm totally paraphrasing. He's like, find someone you can confide in, because it's eaten me up not being able to talk to anybody about this.
Mm-hmm.
Find somebody you can confide in. And that's when he kind of realizes, who should I be confiding in but my wife? And he goes and talks to Cece about it. Right? Now, this is the nature of sci-fi fantasy, right? You watch these movies with your spouse, and then you're like, how would we behave in this circumstance? Screw how we think we would behave. Let's plan that if this ever happened, and one of us traveled through time, and, da-da-da-da, and this and that, this is what we would do. This kind of a thing, That's the kind of situation he and Cece are kind of finding themselves in. So he needs to confide in someone. So he says to Cece, look, this is what happened. This is who I am. This is where I'm from. And this is what I think happened to Amy.
But my biggest question from that episode is he still having the memory of him shooting the dad in an accident, but that isn't what happened? So I'm wondering,
Well,
what happens to the people who, is he not remembering it that way because he's also traveled, or is now, are two memories now getting conflated with each other?
No, I think. Okay. Well, this is just my take. You know, your both of your interpretations are potentially valid, but my personal take on it is take the time travel element out of it. This is a 10-year-old boy who shot his father. Mm-hmm. The real psychology of it is to have a defense mechanism.
Have it be an accident.
Yeah. It is an accident in his mind. This is how he remembers it. Now that he is an adult and confronted by someone else who witnessed it, he's like, oh, that's not how I remember it, but you might be right.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's how
right? Exactly.
He has that. He has that break. That memory comes back to him. You know,
right?
He is confronted by Royal is confronted by Joy about what really happened. In History of Violence, Tom is confronted by Fogarty, who knows who he really is, that he's really Richie. And once, you know, like I said, this guy that, you know, he almost killed years ago, who's now found him and is coming for him, putting a gun to his head. Yeah. You know, it's like he says to him, you know, you are trying so hard to be this other person that it's hard to watch. Because now, I know who the fuck you are. Because you took my eye, and I'm coming for you. And I don't care if you think you're Tom Stahl or you're Queen Elizabeth. I am going to make you remember, and then I am going to kill you in front of your family. You know, and Ryle, that's not, you know, Joy is not holding that kind of a threat over Royal's head, thank God.
Right.
You know, but it is that same thing, and that is
exposure
still,
to reality.
I know you are. It's exactly. It's that exposure to, yeah. You know,
and think about it again from Royal's point of view, right?
Yeah.
Here's what I credit Royal with. At least this is how I'm seeing it right now. You know, maybe I'm wrong, but my current interpretation is he is handling it like a champ. He's accepting that his memory might be wrong. And he is going, oh, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. Maybe, right? And at the same time, that forces him to look at Joy a very different way. Joy was an antagonist to him, right? Because she was the law enforcement and he was, you know, on the opposing side of law enforcement. Now he sees her as intimately involved in his history. He made a choice to not kill her because it was the wrong thing to do. It would have been the wrong thing to do. He turned on his father because
that was the right thing to do.
Well, it was, but let's face it, that wasn't the reason he did it. The reason he did it was, fuck you. You want me and my mother dead. I want you dead.
And sister. Yeah. It looked like he had a sister.
Oh, yeah, that may be. I may be overlooking that. But there's your point. But either way, he sacrificed his status quo for Joy. And he's realizing that now. Right? Yeah. And everything that happened since that point was because of that decision. So there's this cosmic connection between him and Joy now, regardless of, you know, the situation they find themselves in the modern day. And I think that Joy is realizing that too. What do you guys think?
I think so.
Go ahead, Boom.
That's all.
No, I think that's the thing that's interesting because he said, you know, I kind of lied my way through life. You have to be honest, and you have to tell somebody up front. Tell Martha.
Right.
We don't know if she's going to do that because she's not out of the hospital yet. But, this is going to eat away at you like it did me. And you have
right.
to
We
be
haven't
honest
seen
with
the last
somebody
two
about it.
episodes, but my guess is there's going to be some resolution to that picture that the daughter saw, that the wife saw, right?
But
so
the point-
maybe... Go ahead.
The point I was going to make was when Royal finally makes it back home at the end of the episode, that's when he decides that he's going to tell Cece everything.
Right.
He has reached a point where, okay, I can't hide anymore. I have to tell somebody, because this leads into the end, the final scene in season 1, which still has not yet been explained. But one of the points is you had the idea that whenever, at whatever point in the future that event takes place in, I got the idea watching that scene that she knew what was going on by that point.
Good point. David makes a great point. Trauma bond? Yes. I think that's true. I think there is now that connection between Royal and Joy, right? They have this shared trauma. They didn't realize that before, but they do now. And that connects them. Now, it's incumbent on both of them to find someone else in their lives. And I think it's their respective spouses they need to go to and say, look. And Netter and I have had this kind of conversation too, right? Every time we've watched a movie, a fantasy, a sci-fi, or whatever, how would we deal with this circumstance? And maybe because we're both geeks, we're a little more open to those kinds of circumstances. But it's like, look, if I ever tell you I've traveled through time and this is what happened, at least listen to me, right? And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm with you on that, But this is what they need their respective spouses to be. Because, and I think, so taking a step back, I do feel like Cece is already kind of accepting what Royal has said, especially in regards to Amy/Autumn. We don't know for sure, but we strongly suspect, because we're seeing it through Royal's point of view, that they are the same individual, just separated by time. And that's what Cece is seeing now. But unfortunately, whereas Royal has dealt with this all his life, Cece's getting it all at once, and it's kind of a brain fuck to her. She's kind of slipping because of it. All right, she's losing it, and honestly, Autumn is too, but not for the same reason. Hers is because of the friggin' drugs she's been taking.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Absolutely. No. Connie's, as she anticipated at the beginning, has been having problems being with us because of life situations. That's great, Connie. Don't worry about it. Thanks for being here. You can always catch up in the rewatch whenever you feel like, if you're so inclined. Thank you. So, have we missed anything from the episodes 4 and 5? I think we've covered a lot of it.
Well, I know Cece's freaking out because now she's got her house is being sold.
Oh, yeah. We totally missed that whole point. The whole thing, the whole underlying modern day story is that the neighbors are trying to steal the land because they owe a debt to them. So they have,
which started out as $50,000 and somehow came up to be $500,000.
But ultimately, it comes down to a personal vendetta. that they have over Royal's relationship with Cece. Royal basically stole Cece away from the fuck's that guy's name, Thenardier or whatever?
Tillerson.
Tillerson, right.
All this time, all of this time that we thought it was over the land. We found out in this season that no, there's other history aside from that.
It kind of is about the land because he wants that. He knows about the hole. He knows about the mineral. He knows about the time travel. He wants that portion of land. So there's that.
Yeah.
But he's using debt to his advantage, and it's pretty shitty. There is no aspirational heroes in this. These are all flawed characters, some more than others.
Regular people dealing with some messed up stuff.
You know, that's probably the best description of it, Agent Boomer. It's like, you know, a bunch of people like ourselves. How would we deal with this shit?
I will say this, though. I don't like the senior Tillerson.
No, fuck that asshole.
I also have a suspicion that maybe he was dating Cece in the original, not so much out of love, but maybe to get her land. Imagine a merger. It'd be like,
maybe.
I didn't think about
Fuck,
that.
I never even thought about that.
We don't know that. I don't know that for sure, but now I'm starting to suspect.
No, now that you say that, I can't.
Sense.
Yeah, I can't not
and
see
he was
that.
stepping out on her, too.
Netter makes a point. This is why it's great to have my wife involved in this conversation, because she picks up on stuff that I miss.
Yeah, because Royal had seen him making out with some chick at a bar, and he's like, Cece know what you're doing, where you're at? And he's telling him to mind his own business. And, so I think Boomer's got a point.
I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here, and just share with y'all. You know, I mean, I think Nate's on the same page as me, but all the rest of y'all, look, if you got yourself a wife in your life, you made a commitment to her. She's your number one. She's your only one. You made that decision when you got married. Live by that decision. Be a man of your word.
If you want to step out on your woman, then break up with your woman, divorce your woman.
I'll go further than that. If you want to step out on your woman, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're not even a man. Just saying.
Could you tell how strongly Troy is committed to relationship? So 32 years with me.
No. She doesn't even realize. I know how lucky a man I am. And she hasn't figured out how lucky I am. See, that's the thing. That's the secret of our success.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It. Okay.
Just saying. There is nothing that any woman outside of this marriage has that she don't. And I know that 150%.
I kept from washing a dead spider when I washed the wet towels.
You overestimate how much I care about that shit, so you really do.
Oh, it grossed me out. It's like, I don't want a dead spider in the laundry.
But
it's from the towels I used to mop up all the water from the flood.
It is a freaking mess. It is a freaking mess. But
yeah, the floor's dry, but
anyway. Yeah. Have we missed anything about the details of the last two episodes? Because we spent some time on it. Why we spent so much time on it? Because I really enjoyed these episodes.
I don't think so. Now we have to gear up for the end, I guess.
We got 2 more episodes, and that's all we're freaking getting. I'm kind of annoyed.
Well.
So, we're going to get some wisdom from Mark here. Wife to me after wedding day. You ever mess around, that thing will never work again. And all that aside, 26 years and counting, I'm very lucky as well and grateful. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. What I guess there's 2 ways you could look at life. You can follow in your parents' footsteps, or you can learn from their negative examples and do the opposite. My father was a selfish piece of shit asshole. He was very, very much like Royal's father. You know, he didn't want children. He told me this to my face. He never wanted children. That my mother did. As soon as he said that to me, I was like, okay, fuck you, old man. You mean nothing to me. And I'll be honest with you, if he'd ever raised a hand to my mother, I'd have done the same thing that Royal did.
It would have been the last thing he ever did.
Yeah, I would have been. I would have done the same thing Royal did. This is why I'm relating so well to Royal over these past 2 episodes, and maybe why these episodes are some of my favorite. But as we're coming up on this election season, the only thing that I'm really glad about is that my dad's dead and he can't vote Democrat. But then I remember that we live in Illinois and he probably could. But that's beside the point.
Twice.
Yeah, right. Possibly.
In Illinois, the dead vote twice.
Exactly. But this is what it comes down to. If you make a lifelong commitment, that's on you. And you should be judged by that. You go back on that, your word is meaningless. You are not a man. Fuck you. And I told Netter when we got married, I'm serious about this. When I say till death do us part, that means if you want out, one of us got to die. Well, here we are 32 years and counting later. Neither one of us seems to want out, so I think we did a good job.
Troy was found with a chapstick embedded in his head. No.
Well, there is that, but that's pretty
Hey, I
non-lethal.
forewarned him that if he interrupted me again, I was going to throw something.
And I deserved it. See, this is an appropriate dynamic. I dig it. So.
It's like I started off with the chapstick. I've got a full can of sparkling water.
I don't know
over
what
here.
the fuck happened to it either.
No, honey, you found it, remember?
Did I?
Yeah, honey.
Yeah.
Look up. See, remember?
Okay.
It's like, how much of that stuff you had to drink?
This was a full bottle.
Yeah, okay, you're stopping now?
I'm done. Oh, yeah, no, I couldn't because, I don't know if it's the alcohol or the sweetness, but I'm feeling a little
It's
sick.
the sweet. You don't like sweet so much.
I don't do sweet very well anymore.
What were you
except me.
eating?
I had some Cheetos earlier. They work as a booze sponge.
Okay, I thought you had a bowl of Cookie Crisp.
I haven't had Cookie Crisp in years. Do they still make that?
I have no idea. I was just trying to get the sound. What's that sound? I imagine.
When I had Cookie Crisp, I bought the cereal. I never really ate it as a cereal.
Yeah,
I just kind
it
of
was
did
a snack.
Yeah, it was just a snack. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because they were sweet. They were like cookies. That's not a cereal. My cereals, if I'm going to eat cereals, Rice Krispies, Rice Chex, and what are those O's? Cheerios.
Cheerios.
So in other words, not very sweet cereals.
I gotcha.
Yeah, like grainy type cereals. Those
I
are the
gotcha.
ones I like.
No flavor.
Yeah, no, here's somebody who knows divorce. Divorce sucks. Having said that, this was a great stream. Gonna call it a night. Curtis, super appreciate you being here. Thank you so much because, let's face it, you are the patron of tonight. You are definitely the one who, between you and Orville Nation, you made tonight pay, and I am very encouraged. I super appreciate it. You guys, those of you guys that are channel members, those of you guys dropping the super chats and the super stickers and stuff, I cannot underscore how much you guys make this stream happen. You guys aren't just here enjoying the chit chat and contributing. You guys are literally sponsoring it, and I super appreciate it because I couldn't do this otherwise. But you know what? I never had Crispix. I know of it, never had it myself. I'm not a big cereal guy. Those are really my only three: Rice Chex, Rice Krispies, and Cheerios.
Here's an interesting divorcee thing. My parents were married 25 years, literally to the day. Their divorce
They
came
divorced
through
on their anniversary.
Yeah, their divorce came through, was finalized on their anniversary date. So Mom can actually say that she was married 25 years to the day. Yeah, second then she never married or anything again. She was just like, it was not worth it. She figured all guys were like my dad and she didn't want to deal with that again.
I mean,
my dad was an alcoholic.
A lot of guys pretty much ruin it for everyone else. Just saying. But anyway. Are we missing anything, guys? Have we covered everything from these 2 episodes?
I think so.
So in a couple weeks we'll have another 2 episodes, and that's kind of the end because from what we've heard, Amazon's canceling at the end of this season. So, fuck. Just when they got something good going, But, damn it, they're going to keep riding the Rings of Power into the fucking ground. But, anyway. All right. Let's wrap this up, guys. What do we got coming up? Tonight's... Well, we have now drifted into Saturday from my perspective. Well, no.
It's not midnight yet here.
But over in Deleted and Age of Boomers time zone, it is now tomorrow.
No.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yeah, they're an hour ahead of
behind
us. They're an hour ahead of us.
Oh.
They're future from us, but not so much that
it's like
really
time travel.
It is like time travel.
I don't know why I thought you guys were behind us. Okay.
No, you're thinking Maria. Maria's a couple hours behind us.
She's 1 hour behind us.
Is it just 1 hour? Okay.
Yeah, it's mountain time.
Gotcha. So later tonight or tomorrow night, depending on which time zone you're in. Let's see. That's Saturday. Delia, do you have anything going on tomorrow?
Well, I'm hoping to jump onto a Pop Culture Minefields Saturday afternoon matinee where they're going to be talking about the French Connection.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to be there for that. If things go well, we'll see. And then, of course, there's tomorrow night, Big Al's Films with Friends.
Big Al Presents. That'll be me, Natter. Big Al Presents 1960s, The Time Machine. I honestly don't think there's a film version that's better than that for
Who's
the
the lead actor in that?
Rod
Sterling.
Rod Taylor.
Rod Taylor. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. What's the girl's name? The future girl?
Oh, I don't remember.
You know what? I'll have IMDb open when we get into it tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But yeah, The Time Machine. The Time Machine, first time I saw it was here in Chicago. WGN Family Classics with what was his name? He was
Fraser Thomas?
Fraser Thomas, thank you.
Yes.
Fraser Thomas.
So Family Classics, I'm like...
Family Classics, Fraser Thomas, yeah. Da 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 da. So that's tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, you got some karaoke going on. Am I right, Deleted?
I hope to join Outlaw Bill for his after hours karaoke show for a few rounds because I'm going to be working to that day. So who knows if I just conk right out or not? But we'll see.
Fair enough.
And so yeah, I'll try to be there for a few rounds. Of course, that leads us on over to Sunday, where Bill and I host
a lot of things.
Western Cinema Presents. And we are going to be watching from 1995 Dead Man with Johnny Depp and Gabriel Byrne and Robert Mitchum. Right? And let's see, that gets us on over to later on that evening for Unscripted. episode 74 called Well, Shut My Mouth, which is going to be about how the British law enforcement is now threatening to extradite Americans who speak out against them.
Is that legal?
I don't know if that's legal, probably not, but either way, it's going to be an hour of me basically telling them, cross my property line, see what happens. Of course, right after that will be Geeky Geezers.
Yes, that'll be on my channel. Troy and I will be discussing how everyone's losing money and everyone's raising the prices of everything in the entertainment industry. Warner Media, that's the big one I want to talk about. But yeah, we have Disney to talk about and a whole bunch of other news. Anything good? We'll do a good old days. I'll have a nice one for that. Troy, I'll keep it a surprise to Troy too. He'll get a kick out of it.
Real quick, DJ Play Nice is saying WGN was carried on our cable company here in Omaha. Dude, that is awesome. WGN. So, depending on what time frame we're talking about here, you may have gotten Family Classics. You may have gotten Bozo's Circus. That was another thing that was regional here on WGN.
And a 4:30 movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, see, you know that. Very good, very good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's how I saw Precinct 13 the first time.
Interesting. That's some great family memories here for me. That's good stuff. Oh, circa 82. Okay, so we've chewed some of the same temporal ground. Good. Awesome. Yeah, I have the theme music from Family Classics in my audio library. I don't know if it'll get me flagged, but maybe I'll pull that into my StreamYard share that with you guys in the future. We'll see. But then the other side of midnight.
Yes, I do have one confirmed guest so far. It will be a panel show. So we will see. I'll be sending out some links, and we'll see who will be available enough to come in and. Otherwise, it's just going to be me doing silly voices for 2 hours, and I don't know if anybody wants to see that.
Which is always fun, too. See, Mark brings up Garfield Goose, and I was about to say Ray Rayner, but then he brought it up himself. So, yeah, Ray Rayner. Absolutely. You can't have one without the other. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So that takes us into Monday. Monday, I'm going to be, let's see. What did I say? Did I say the producers for this week? Yeah.
No.
No. We're still on Dreams. So we're on, what were those two movies?
Inception and What Dreams May Come.
Yep. And Deleted said he would join me for that. Or at least the first one. If you can stay for the second one, that's great. But that is Monday at 8 Central, 9 Eastern. Double feature. Last Calls, Monday night at the movies, right here on my channel. Which brings us around to Tuesday. What are all of us here on the panel doing on Tuesday night? Deleted Scenes.
Yes, that will be live from Sparkwood in 21, which is our retrospective of Twin Peaks. And we will be watching episode 7 of The Return. Was the title something that's a body, all right, or something like that?
That's a body, all right.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
I don't remember exactly, but I think you may finally get your resolution on who that body is without the head. We know who the head is. We don't know who the body is. And I've already prophesied that you will be He'll be very bothered and discouraged by who that body is.
I mean, I think I've got something of an idea of who it might be, because I think...
Go ahead. I'd love to know what you're thinking it is. Who do you think it is?
Again, they could pull a complete switch on me here. I think it's Major Briggs.
Do you want a confirmation or disapproval of it?
Let's wait.
Okay, I'll save it for Tuesday. But
they've hinted at it, and this okay. We're okay. We're going to go into Twin Peaks here for a second, folks. Okay, we have been given an explanation to how the Major Briggs character passed.
Died, sort of. I don't buy the explanation. That's why I think he may be this as of yet unidentified body. Yeah, that's fair.
But again, remember, that's me saying I don't buy it. I could be wrong, but we'll see.
This is not a simple answer, so even if I was to confirm or deny it, there's nuance to this. This isn't as simple as, yes, Major Briggs is dead. Yes, that's his body. It's like, kinda? So we'll get into that this week on Tuesday, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, live from Sparkwood 21 on Deleted Scenes channel. There you go. Thursday, Netter's Network.
Yes, we will have one of those.
What are we? Who are we going to be talking to on Thursday?
On Thursday, things my special guest will be Enigma Severus.
Enigma Severus, who was here briefly, who couldn't stay with us because, sleepy time, but perfectly understandable. But we will get a good full hour with him on Thursday, starting 9 Central, 10 Eastern. Find out all about him, all about his channel, why you should be subscribed to it, and why you should be watching every single video he puts out.
Yep.
And after that, we expect you to all go over to Deleted Scenes channel so he can tell you what the fuck's going on the whole rest of the week.
And of course, even back before Netter's show, Action Theater.
Oh, sorry. I thought I'd gotten everything.
Again, Outlaw Bill and myself, and we're going to be watching Red 2 with Bruce Willis, John Malkovich, Midnight's Edge's own Dame Helen Mirren.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Sir Anthony Hopkins as the villain.
We chopped off her head and then we burned her heart and now she's at peace.
There's a wonderful scene where I think someone mentions Papa John's, or we found you at a Papa John's, and we're gonna get some Papa John's. He's like, who's Papa John? Because he was out.
David is speculating could be a tulpa. Everybody could be a tulpa.
Yeah.
You're getting a little ahead of us, David, or at least you're getting ahead of Deleted Scenes. But I hope you can definitely join us on Tuesday because we'll probably be talking about some of that. Absolutely. You are keyed in. You know what you're talking about. So that's Thursday. And that brings us around to Friday. Boomer and I are undecided about next week, Friday.
Talk about it Sunday.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about it Sunday. We're on the fence about 2 different topics, and we'll figure it out.
Yes.
We'll figure it out when I sober up.
Yes.
So,
sounds good.
So there you go. And that is the week in review. Am I missing anything, guys?
I don't think so.
Have I not covered anything you guys wanted to cover?
No. You're doing the time machine tomorrow night, so look forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all wibbly wobbly, timey wimey around here, my friends. Let me tell you, between the Outer Range and the Time Machine by H.G. Wells and Twin Peaks.
And the fact that Doom keeps coming back and won't die, even though it's.
Well, there's that. We'll talk more about that on Sunday too.
Yes.
So yeah, let's go around the horn. I mean, we've kind of already covered what everyone's doing, but let's get your last words. Whoops, I did this wrong. I wanted to bring up deleted scenes. Any last thoughts or words, deleted scenes?
Once again, I would like to thank everybody for joining us here in the chat.
Right.
And to whoever might also be watching on Twitter. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. And of course, do we have a Rumble up as well for the show this week, or?
Well, I'm on Rumble, but nobody's there. It's just me doing it as a backup.
I was about to say to anybody who might watch on Rumble later on, should there be? Thank you.
Yep.
If anybody is wondering what "Nobody's Fault But My Own" means, that is the song played at the end of episode 5 by Beck. I love it. Yep. Check it out. Good point.
Great soundtrack. We haven't talked enough about the soundtrack from the show.
The soundtrack is fantastic. Yeah. Out of range. I like this show. It's it's very much if David Lynch and Taylor Sheridan got together and did a television show.
Damn, I didn't even think of it that way, but you're right.
So, and of course, Wind River got a shout out in episode 5. So
there you go.
There's that. All right. And as I always say at the end of all of my broadcasts, from HQ and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond, good night, take care, stay strong, be safe, because this is how we win.
Chicha and amen. There you go. There you go. Age of Boomer? Any last thoughts or words?
Nothing. Just this is wiggly wimey timey wimey, and hopefully it'll make sense by the end of the series, but it probably won't. Anyway,
it makes a lot more sense than the last couple seasons of Doctor What the Fuck.
Well, yeah, that should be what it's called now. Yeah.
Right. Awesome, man. Thanks so much, Netter. Oh, whoops! I did this wrong again. There we go, Netter. Last words, you want to take us out?
Yeah. Of course, I want to remind everyone to make sure that you are sub to every member of the panel as well as every member of the chat. And if you think you're sub, go back and double check you're still sub because YouTube.
Yep.
And if you are members of different streams, you might want to just double check that you're still a member.
Yep.
Because, like I know Troy had a bunch of free ones that were given out, and now those ones have lapsed. So if you want to continue being a member, you'll need to re-up. Yep. I did that on Deleted just like a couple weeks ago, where I looked, just like, hey, I'm not a member anymore. And then I remembered, oh, right, I'd started off with a free one, and it lapsed.
And they don't remind you when you come to the end of your free one.
They don't. So I made sure that I became a channel member for Deleted. So that's something to keep in mind if you wish to continue supporting the channel. There we go. I got words out. And with that said, we can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well, good, and fun. But it's so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat and you're dropping your comments, questions, trivia, being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases. It feels like we're all hanging out in the same room, enjoying each other's company and having a great time. And you guys, you aren't just our friends. You are our family. We love you guys, and we appreciate you so very much. You could be anywhere right now, and you're here. I mean, that's so encouraging. I love seeing you guys in all of our streams. The way that you not just encourage us, but you encourage one another in the chat, it's so great. So thank you so much for being a part of our family, for encouraging us all so very much, especially since we have had such a trying week that I can use all the encouragement I can get.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So until next time, which will be say Friday, Saturday, over on Big L's channel, good night and God bless.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, I cannot underscore enough, how much I super appreciate every single one of you. You guys, Orville Nation, Curtis Selby, thank you so much for the the super stickers and the super chat. You guys are awesome. Every single one of you that is a channel member, really keeping the lights on here. Super appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, thanks guys. And honestly, I can't express my appreciation enough. You guys are the reason we do this, and that's why I focus on the chat as much as I do. Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.